You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects, that is movies, TV shows, video games and board games. I'm your host Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Ant-Man, and welcome. This episode is going to be talking about our top 5 comedy TV shows of all times, and what better to have the guys that did the top 5 movie comedies of all time. Guys, welcome back. Introduce yourselves around the table, please.
Hello, I'm Philip Rankin, and I'll be joining Anthony on this TV comedy podcast.
Nice one.
I'm Scott, and I'll also be joining on this podcast to talk about the top 5 TV comedies.
I'm Chris, and thanks for having me back. Cheers, bye.
I'm Tim. Yes.
Hi. Right, guys, welcome back. Thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having us.
Great to be back.
Pleasure.
So we've done the movies. Let's do the comedy side of it, okay? You got your top 5s?
Indeed.
I'm ready to go when you are.
Yeah?
It was hard.
Let's start with the questions as normally do then. So, guys, without spoiling your top 5s if it does, can you remember the first TV comedy show you ever watched at all?
Happy Days?
Yeah?
Probably. My dad watched that crap. So, yeah, as a kid, probably Happy Days, I think. That's what, that and MASH.
Yeah.
Parents' comedies. I mean, I don't know if you do include kids' comedies, but from what I remember from, like, live comedy shows, definitely Happy Days and MASH. My parents constantly watched it.
Yeah, Happy Days was that one where I kind of watched it because it was on before something else I wanted to watch. So it was like when Games Master was on, Happy Days was always on before that.
Yeah.
So I was like, fucking, I've got to watch this.
As well.
Eh?
It was always on at lunchtime.
Yeah.
True. Anyone else?
Roseanne.
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah.
I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think because there was only 4 channels back in the day, you kind of stuck with
No,
what
totally.
you
I remember
had.
that.
So you would tune in for that. Like you said, it would precursor your show that you're looking forward to. So if Robot Wars is on BBC Two, you watch obviously Fresh Prince before it or whatever, you know, like.
Yeah, totally.
My nan, we always used to watch and stuff like on the buses.
Yeah.
Like Frank Spencer.
Yeah.
And then basically Christmas specials were a lot of, you know, you had the Only Fools and Horses Christmas special, which I remember. I don't remember watching comedy shows as such, but I do remember we were all sitting down to watch comedy specials.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and yeah, there was a lot of any others. Do you reckon?
Especially like the Christmas specials that came in as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just a lot of comedy growing up, like obviously like Only Fools and Horses and stuff like that, and then later on as you become teens you go into whatever In-Betweeners was one of the last ones or something. So
I remember watching.
Yeah, man.
Like not telling my mum or like my nan that I was going to watch Bottom.
Yeah.
So I sneaking like on a Friday evening at 9, you know, like.
Yeah,
this is rude.
I remember watching that at a very age I shouldn't have been watching it.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
was like, what is this comedy?
Yeah.
Like, you know that if your nan or your mum walks in at this
Exactly.
point, you are done for.
Nice. So now being spot for choice with streaming channels and services, do you guys go out of your way to watch comedy shows, or do you watch them out of the fact that someone's maybe recommended them to you or something?
I don't really search for no. That's the thing. I'm more movies now. I don't really watch many shows now. I used to, like back before streaming service, like DVDs and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. I've gone the complete opposite. I watch more movies now than shows because I think there's just to the point there's too much to the point I just don't know which ones to watch. I'm too spoilt for choice. So it all depends what mood I'm in, and I can't really figure out which one I want to see. I'll flick for one. I'm like, no.
But you got enough for list, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm saying like that's now.
Sure. Yeah.
Not to say I never stopped watching shows, but anything new, it's hard to figure out any new shows. Apart from people recommend stuff, that's about it. But,
of course, yeah.
Yeah. That's probably about it, really.
Mate, you guys? Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I do watch my movies a lot, but I'm very box sets and TV box sets and a lot like that. So I will go out and I'll watch a lot of stuff. It'll go, oh, you like this and recommend that. And I'll look at the rating and I'll go along those lines. And I found doing this list, I do prefer English sort of comedy, but I prefer to watch an American sort of comedy show which has an overlying storyline which is hilarious along the way, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Instead of being episodes like a 30-minute English show, you know, like, oh, this is what is happening. You have a long... I found that, putting my list together, I was like, oh, I do like the American sort of way that they do comedy, but I'm not so much a fan of their humour.
Okay,
I just crack up at the whole scenarios about what's going on in these shows. And I do watch a lot of comedy if it's, basically it's one of my main searches.
Good thing we got you on the show then, isn't it?
Yeah, so with me in comedy, I find sort of what Chris was saying, even though it's something to laugh at, there is still like an underlying overarching storyline. You become attached to the characters emotionally. So you get to laugh, but you still care about these people. And there's, what do they say? Truth in comedy.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, show don't tell, things like that. So like there is as much as comedy, people might think, oh, it's just a ha-ha, 30 minutes, wrap and done. There are comedies that stretch it out and they make a story out of it still.
I think generally with comedies, I watch maybe retrospectively.
Okay.
As well, like with new stuff that comes out, as Chris said, I would check ratings. I would look at watch a trailer or two, see who's in it. I think as well, depending on what you kind of focus on, because a lot of people might like the kind of sitcom, like laughter track type comedies, and then you get the kind of like fly on the wall mockumentary type comedies as well. So it depends on what you kind of just drift towards. So that's how I kind of pick it. I like kind of like, I'm sure today's reality perspective is, the in trend thing.
Oh yeah, just to add another point, I found that comedies, a lot of them, going back, are very friends orientated. You know, we've sat around a lot of times quoting a lot of comedy in these scenarios, so it's something that's always been ingrained in our friendship to use a lot of quotes. Pretty much from comedies.
Yeah, totally,
It builds up most of our vocab outside of these walls, you know.
You have colloquial terms that you use within your groups, don't you, your friends?
Which don't mean anything to anybody else, but like to us, you know,
exactly.
A lot of comedy stuff has... I mean, they might be rubbish, but because we've liked it.
Yeah.
What was it, like, there was like a rubbish... What was it? Black Dynamite, but we found it...
Oh,
Black Dynamite.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah,
it's a rubbish, but we absolutely.
It's a B movie.
It's a movie that's aware of what it is, isn't it? And it's like,
it's sentient, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's just our way of.
Diabolical dick shrinking motherfuckers.
I'm sure when we go through our list.
Sense of humour.
That's what I gravitate towards. I like the things that really tickle me.
Yeah.
For example,
how far can we push it?
Sometimes at the detriment of like what some people would consider non-comedy, and you're like, oh, that's a bit crossing the line. And I'm like, I want the line crossed.
Exactly, yeah. So, was there ever a comedy show that you guys knew of but never watched it, and then finally getting around to watching it and thought, you know what, this is actually a pretty good show?
It's made my list. So
it's made the list, all right. So without spoiling it, that's fine, yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else at all? There's definitely a couple on my list that Tim had watched before me and recommended it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put it on the side a sec, but then it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it could have made my list, which was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Okay.
And it was so close to making my list, which was Last Man on Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, top 10, they would have been in there, and I feel bad.
No, it's fine. It's your list at the end of the day.
Both were recommended me to a lot of time, and I was like, nah. And then I finally watched it, and I was like, and I know they were good because I was laughing on my own. You know, when you watch something on your own, and it's like one of those sitcoms, and you're just pissing yourself, and there's no one else in the room.
Yeah.
This is hilarious.
Yeah. Mine's in my list.
So, okay, sure. Anyone else? Is yours in your list, or?
Well, yeah, like I say, without giving too much.
Yeah, that's fine. If it's in your list, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's hard because I found it a bit tricky to decide what I preferred. Something that I have watched more and gravitate to constantly referencing, or something that I've watched more recent that I did enjoy, but it's like it's hard to sort of decide what criteria defines my top 5.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple in mind where mine was recommended. There's one definitely in there that I was way against, but then after watching it or watching a specific episode, I was like, I've got to watch the rest of them now. So obviously we'll go into that when we do our top 5s. Mm-hmm. But how are you guys with recommendations? So Phil, for example, if I recommended something to you, would you give it a go, or would it be something like you've got to be in the mood to watch? Or
Yeah, like I think it's like for me, if it tallies like in my mind, like you've given me a recommendation, I've seen things online, it starts to like sort of get into my consciousness. Then I'm like, obviously the galaxy, the universe is telling me something.
Sure.
So, like, I know that sounds stupid, but like, you know what I mean? When you see it, like when I was a kid, and that sounds strange, but remember Dino Riders?
Sure, I love Dino Riders.
I saw like the trailer for it or a little thing on like a Ghostbusters VHS or something. Then I started seeing posters for it, and it just seemed like something was telling me to go investigate this thing. So I just
Nice. Scott?
Not really too sure what to say.
If Tim recommended something to you, would you give it a go, or would it be something you're like
Absolutely.
in the mood for? And
I think with comedy, I'm always in the mood to laugh. Like generally, like there'll be other genres where you're like, I don't know if I fancy that tonight. But with comedy, it's
straight away.
Straight away. But absolutely. Like if you I would listen to people's recommendations as much as I would give people's recommendations. So
sure.
No, absolutely. Like, how else are you going to find stuff?
Yeah,
There's so much content out. How do you decide what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch? So like recommendations are a big part of helping that.
Yeah.
So if it had Tommy Wiseau in it, would you be straight on it?
Well, I did watch his second Vanity Project after The Room, and that was even that was somehow worse.
You have seen it? Which one? Best Friend?
No, the house that Alexander.
Oh God,
did he actually make that?
That's not a film. That's a
like a
16-minute short.
What about you, Chris?
Well, I've watched a lot of stuff because of this pod. I got on to smashed out The Shield because I was recommended.
Loved
it. But nowadays there'll be certain things like if I said to Phil, watch this FBI program, I've already lost him.
Yeah.
if it's gritty serious.
So it has to be someone within his field that he likes.
But then, like, if it's a comedy, and Scott will say, watch this. We've watched a lot of comedy. There's certain things that I know to watch. I know pretty much that if Tim recommends a film, it's pretty much not really... he has an eclectic taste in what he likes for a film. So it depends on the recommendation, but there are certain things I would never say no, but it kind of depends on who recommended it and like how successful they've been in the past.
True. Yeah, track records and how it's sold, the synopsis and stuff.
It's basically
delivery. If you deliver it well enough, you've sold me.
You sold me. Plot.
Yeah.
What about you, Tim? Recommendations? You good with them?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty much what everyone else has been saying. Like you take everything with a grain of salt, and obviously, Friends. We all have our own like eclectic, like universal language, pretty much.
Sure,
we have our own thing going, so we're all in the same universe of our own sort of like.
Yeah, totally.
I never mind Friends. I thought it was. I thought it was decent. It wouldn't make my top 5, but I've always sort of watched it. It's. But there are those shows. There are.
Yeah, I was talking about actual Us Friends.
Us Friends.
Not the show.
Not the show.
No, Seinfeld is way better.
Seinfeld, brilliant,
I kind of ruined it now because that's my number 5, my number 4, my number 3, my number 2, my number 1.
Sorry.
So, last question for you guys. In my top 5 anyway, there's a couple that's from my childhood. Do you guys have the sort of similar thing with yours? Have you mixed yours up a bit at all? Bit of childhood, bit of nowadays or something?
Yeah.
Like it was a late added because it was like, oh my god, how did I forget him? And it's got going. It's made the list.
Yeah.
Certain actors that play certain roles within comedy that I follow. So, say for example, without giving too much away, Steve Carell. He's in a lot of films. We all like him. So when he does the serious stuff, not listing what those series may be, but it's enjoyable to watch him play kind of like a stereotypical character where he's typecast to it. So you follow them, don't you? It's like, what's the guy from Arrested Development, and he's in Let's Go to Prison, and he's in a lot of stuff, but you see his face, but you never remember his name. But when he turns up, same as the guy says, no, he's like, if I
David
showed you a
Cross.
picture-
David,
no, not, well, he's one
the
of them as
magician
well.
guy. What's his name?
Yeah.
The magician. I know you mean.
Yeah, you know who I mean. Well, it escapes my.
No, it's Jason Bateman. You're thinking of the other one. I know you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean. Like Michael Cera, for example. Like if he brings something out, like I watched that Cactus one quite recently. You know, the one where he goes to Mexico and he's doing ayahuasca, and it's kind of like a drama, comedy type thing. Because it's Michael Cera, isn't it? But it's worth a watch. First time I tried to watch it, I was like, I can't get into this.
Right.
The second time around, I was actually quite like, oh, that's all right.
So is that a recommendation right there?
It's a recommendation.
Oh, there we go.
Like Michael Cera and his deadpan deliveries, then you'll
Sure.
be good with that.
Yeah. Anyone else got that added to that? If not, no, Scott.
No, I'm
No.
happy to.
All right, so we'll go straight into the top 5s then.
Alrighty.
It's time for a top 5. Number 5.
So we got our list ready then, guys.
Yeah.
Who would like to go first? I went first last time, so who wants to do it this time?
Me again?
Start with Tim.
Oh.
Go for it, then.
Okay.
You kick it off, Tim.
Alrighty. So unlike my other top 5s, I used to do the category thing. This one was far more easy, I think, for me. I think it's pretty much one category, isn't it? There's nothing I can do this one. But I basically went with what was mentioned earlier about how we quote and reference it all the time. So it's basically I've done the top 5 in what I quote most and what I've watched most and like rewatched sort of thing. So it goes from like least to most, pretty much.
That's what I did for criteria.
Yeah, go for it.
I think that's the easiest way to do it with this one. But it's just TV shows. It's not like like movies and stuff. So it's far more easier. So my number 5 is I'm Alan Partridge.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Has anyone got that?
As in the whole series or just a specific series?
I'm Alan Partridge series.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the name of the series.
Yeah.
It's got like 4 of them, but I'm Alan Partridge.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I keep getting confused if he'd done another one, but it was called something else.
They didn't know me, knowing you.
That's it.
I'm Alan Partridge, and then what was one after that? I can't remember what the other one was.
It's the most recent one, like the chat show one, isn't it? I can't remember. The Big Show, or not Big Show.
Alan's Big Show.
Is that what it's called? To be honest, I did actually watch a couple of episodes of that, and I struggled to actually. Yeah, I didn't take to that one, but maybe it is another slow burner, much like his original.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But yeah, that was actually on my list as well.
I had a feeling because we quote it quite a lot.
Exactly.
So it's not on the list. So
it's on my list as well.
Oh, it is on your list.
It is
Okay.
on my list
so
as
you
well.
guys go at it. What number is it on yours, Scott?
Mine is number 3.
Ooh,
Great.
okay.
Interesting. So, okay, so you have the list. So do you want to explain the synopsis because you've got the megaphone?
And we know you love doing a little synopsis, mate. So go for it.
You're good at it. So you're way better than me.
I haven't actually got as many synopses for this for this show as I have for the last one, but I know that I'm Alan Partridge ran from 1997 to 2002. It was written by Steve Coogan, and it was 2 seasons. I think one came out literally 97, and then the next one came out a few years after that, so it wasn't like immediate.
Yeah. It wasn't like year after year sort of thing.
Yeah, and it just pans like the mundane life of this like B-rate, like English radio, part-time radio presenter. He's an odd character, isn't he, Tim?
Absolutely. He's unique.
He's very pedantic and mundane, and just like he gets like lost in such minutia.
I love that.
He does.
He lacks social skills. We'll just put it that way. He has his own way of thinking, and if it doesn't go his way, it's no one's way either. So it's
now you're talking my language.
I just love his his way of embarrassing himself always tickles me. it's just the situation he puts himself in. It's always his fault, pretty much, and I just love how worse he gets.
Yeah,
throughout
definitely.
Every episode,
especially by like season 2. Like I remember Steve Coogan was actually talking about like he did a lot of big acting that he then regretted. Yeah. Like he acted at like almost like a cartoon character at times, and then like the whole point of Partridge is he's low key.
Yeah.
So like he was a bit like annoyed about that. He went a bit over the top with some of his reactions in season 2, but. Yeah, overall, like when I first watched it, I did not get it. My friend, again, recommendation.
Sure.
When I was like literally like 15, 16, lent me the 2 DVDs. And I watched it and I was just like, I don't get this.
No.
And then like slowly but surely I started to sort of mull it over, and then I watched it again, and then it's like a real slow burner. But then now it's like I quote it all the time. It's so weird.
Yeah. So it was actually I first watched it when it was actually my mum.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, see, I heard her bursting out laughing in the living room. I was like in the kitchen like, making, I think, a chocolate and Nutella toast, I think. But I just heard her cracking up. And I was like, what is this you're watching? And then literally that's how I watched it. And I think the first episode I saw was the episode where he's bored.
Oh, yeah.
That was the first episode I saw. Yeah. So
it's like a savoury night.
Is that the one when he dresses up behind the counter?
Yeah,
the tungsten screws.
Yeah. And I think that was the bit my mum was laughing at. And then but I kind of missed Butler because I was in the kitchen. But I remember going through it, and then I think I caught this scene when he's dancing with the cones. And I was like, Mum, what is this?
Has anyone else got anything they want to say about this show at all?
No, I've only watched it the odd episode, but like, I mean, he's an hilarious character. I've never given it the full just it deserves, you know.
Yeah, I think
I've loved his movies like Alpha Papa, and like you know, he's brilliant. He's comedy gold, but I can't really.
Yeah, I think Alan Partridge is that series where I only go back to my favourite episodes. I couldn't watch the whole lot again.
Yeah,
I just go back to my favourites.
Well, it's kind of like hope no one's got it. Faulty Towers. It's got what 12 episodes.
Yes,
and it's the same with Alan Partridge.
Yeah,
I think less is more. You just have like enough episodes with no filler gaps. It's like every episode counts in those seasons.
That hotel lived up the street from that hotel.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm from Torquay, so yeah. So
really?
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
Used to drive past it. Yeah, quality little place.
Wow, awesome.
Torquay blood in the studio.
Yeah, I think Steve Coogan is almost like a British, what would you say, like a, classic now, almost like Rowan Atkinson.
He's underestimated. He's what's the word?
Underestimated?
Yeah,
underappreciated.
Underappreciated, yeah.
You know, like he's a really good actor. He can do like Paul Whitehouse. He could do so many different roles, and like he's brilliant. You know,
especially Stan and Ollie. He was really good in that.
Yeah.
I like the the DJ presenting format that he does. He works for the Norwich station, so I like that kind of
Norwich. That's it. When
like you got a kind of like someone who's a bit like hasn't got the social skills, doesn't come across well, like obviously insults his guests. I love all that. There's a show in America called Free Radio, which is sort of the same premise where you got this young underling who takes over a radio station, and he's just completely insulting to all the guests. So people from Always Sunny in Philadelphia come in, or Henry Rollins, or famous singers, and he's straight to their face saying the words. Obviously, it's written, but it's much like The Office.
Okay,
but set in a radio studio, it's just hard to get hold of the episode.
What's it called again?
Free Radio. It was on VH1 like in the 2000s.
I wonder if it's on YouTube or something.
Yeah, that's the other thing I love about Steve Partridge is a quiet taste in music is awful, but I love how he tries to sell it off. He's always trying to sell.
It's like Tony Blackburn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Golden oldies.
Scott, what's your favourite Alan Partridge quote?
I think it's more like what's trending.
Okay.
So at the moment, and I'm sure you'd agree with me on this, it's got to be full beam.
Yes, definitely. We use it too many times, I think.
See, straight over the head.
See, again, I could quote some from my favourite. I think one is when he gets with that woman for the first time, and he's like, now I get full access to Dixon's. That's the only thing I can really remember from it.
I know a cracking owl sanctuary.
That or like the Jurassic Park or Jet or those simple ones. So
I have access to the kids, but they don't want to see me.
There's a few cameos from like Uprising Stars and that as well, isn't there? Like Simon Pegg shows up, and there's another one.
Yeah, Simon Pegg.
There's another actress in it who just recently won an Oscar as well. She's in one of those shows as well, I believe. remember her name now.
Oh, Coleman, really?
Yeah, I think she is, yeah.
Olivia Colman?
I don't remember her being Olivia Coleman. No.
I'd have to double check that.
Yeah.
Wow. Checks.
What's the episode where he meets that Supermark fan? Who's
Oh
obsessed
God,
with
that
him?
one's a great episode.
Like, that's where I sort of came into it.
Oh wow!
Where,
Okay.
like I again sort of floated around with
Sure.
it, and then eventually went right. I'm going to have the DVDs, and I'll just crack on with
Yeah.
it. So yeah, that was like it was
That's a
that
good
dark
episode.
humor again represents itself.
Losing the battle for wall space.
Yeah.
With David Copperfield.
Or when he serves in the, the cup
Oh,
he used to put detergent in the washing
Oh
machine
my God.
because he's run out of tea mugs.
Yeah.
That episode particularly is very awkward, very cringe to watch.
I think that I like cringe, awkward humour though.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites, and Out of Partridge is definitely up there for me. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, good choice, guys.
Cool.
No, next person.
Chris, you want to go next?
Okay, yeah, my number 5. It's a.
Oh, hang on a minute. I didn't do my number 5.
No, we go round to you because that was your number 3.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to come round to you. Don't worry.
Okay. So I wasn't sure.
But so when he gets to number 3, yeah, it's already taken. So
Right, yeah.
I'm with you.
it's okay.
Yeah, so
What's
my
your
number 5 is sci-fi. It's an older series. I got to watch it when it was, I think it was in full swing. It was in its prime when I started to watch it. But my stepdad had all the back catalogue, and I watched it once when I was grounded, and I loved it. Yeah, smashed it all. It's about a mining ship deep in space. It's called Red Dwarf.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. Now,
What a guy.
I love this even more because we got to go
Yes.
and watch the special.
Okay.
The recent one that was on. So that was the first ever time I've ever been to anything live.
Was that the one that went on the Dave channel?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we got to see the best part if we're honest. Yeah,
Definitely.
It was like the whole humour about it. It shouldn't really work. You've got a total slob who's literally the last human alive, like the biggest prefect, and tall Rimmer, who's just amazing.
Greatest.
Crichton, who's just the funniest robot cyborg, awesome, and then Cat, who has just so much style. Well, he thinks he has style, but there's no style.
Dwayne Dibley.
Dwayne Dibley is awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I mean, it was solid for about, I think it was 9 seasons, and then maybe there was like
I would say it
one or
dropped off
two, it dropped, but there was one where it ended back, it was rubbish.
Yeah.
And then they kind of like terminated it.
The Coronation Street one.
And, and they come back, and they started again, and it's sort of, it's worked. Now, this one's just on there for how much I've sort of watched it.
Sure.
And being that I went to see it live, it was like, for how long it's been going on, it's just, it had to be on my list.
So is it still going then, or
It's one of those things where it comes back as like
one-off
specials, but they're getting old now, and like they're meant to still, Rimmer's meant to look like his hologram, but he's still, and we can allow it, and the British humour's brilliant in it,
definitely.
It's really, really good, but I think the writing has, without Holly, it went down a bit, but like it's still for how much I've watched it and how much I've loved it.
Yeah.
I might not quote, this is probably one that I don't quote as much, but he does get quoted. Dwayne Dibley gets quoted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And should we change the bulb if something's gone wrong?
Yeah, it was actually because we went to see it live, and I was actually close to it at 5 myself, but because I went through quotations like you mentioned, it's not one I quote the most. Either,
I mean, and I've noticed that a lot of my shows, I don't quote, they're not on my list, but it just had to go on there. It was, loved it.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch it at all?
I did on and off, like all throughout growing up. I do actually feel like at some point I'm going to have to do like an actual beginning to end binge watch of it.
Yeah.
Like, growing up, you would always watch on BBC, and it would always be like intermittent episodes. So
if you start from the beginning, it's solid, so you get hooked.
There's loads of episodes I've seen.
Everybody's dead, Dave. Everybody's dead. Oh, not Peterson.
Is it true in it that the ship, obviously Holly, creates Arnold Rimmer?
Yeah, to keep him sane.
To keep him sane, because he's the most antagonising character.
Because apparently your mate would just drive you nuts.
Yeah.
This guy
Right.
He's so the opposite to him. He won't let him do anything.
Yeah, it's the ultimate odd couple, basically. Yeah.
That's what keeps them alive and keeps them going.
Yeah. It's clever how they put that little dynamic in, so obviously has
and
longevity.
that's what the humour is, because they don't like each other and they both give as good as
The banter's good.
The banter's brilliant.
Banter's great.
It's well written. Is it Doug Naylor?
Yeah.
And the soundtrack. That theme is just
it's brilliant.
Quality. I love an operatic theme like that. Instrumental.
It's shot really well as well, considering a lot of it was done in like warehouses and stuff. The model work is still stands out today, I believe. But going back to how I got into it, it was probably the same way with Tim. My folks were watching it when I was like really young. So I didn't really start it till it was like in season 3 when it wasn't as. To me, I still think that season 1 and 2 are a bit boring compared to as it got. I mean, it might be different for you, but I think, like I said, I must have watched it when it was in its peak. They brought like monster characters into it and stuff like that, and the comedy got.
Well, because I was already committed.
To exactly. So
watching a few episodes, I was like, right, I'll go back and I'll start from the beginning because my dad's got them. So I was already committed. Like, they are great characters, because you turn up and I was like, who the hell is that Crichton? And I'm so glad they changed that Crichton, because I probably wouldn't have liked it if you know what I mean. It lived and died.
And Holly changed as well, because that was originally a bloke, wasn't it?
So like those little tweaks, if that Crichton would have been still there, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. But because they changed the character. I can't remember his name. It's the guy from Scrappy Challenge.
Oh my god, is it really?
Yeah, he's Crichton.
Yes, of course it is. Yeah.
So like when they changed him, and for me it worked. His humour, because he's trying to break his programming, because he's meant to be a robot, and corrupts his programming. Yeah, it's brilliant.
What I liked about Red Dwarf was, going by what Chris was saying, like the early seasons, it was more about them stuck on the ship. You're there with them. It's like a bottle episode, but continuous almost.
Sure.
And then, like Chris said, the writing got more and more outside the box. And the budget, and they're going to different locations. And then all of a sudden they could just travel to anywhere at any time. And it's like, it kind of undermined the original concept. And it's back to like saying about how comedy is comedy, but there's still story and characters that you care for.
What I like about it is that they play on the fact that they know it's a BBC thing, so they write the cheapness of the effects and the comedy props into like the laughs, so that makes up the script. They just appear like, that's shoddy edited, but they've done it in a way because
it's like Doctor Who.
Doctor Who is
with comedy elements.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's my number 5.
Yeah. Who's everyone's favourite character? For me, it's Rimmer.
Rimmer.
Everyone's Rimmer, come on.
I like Holly, but the only reason I dislike him is because he's a bloody Arsenal fan.
Yeah, he rips the Spurs.
Yeah. When I watched it when I was a kid, I was like, instantaneously, I was like...
Holly, he was always great when he came on. He was a show stealer, you know.
Yeah.
They tried it in America, didn't they? But it didn't sort of...
Yeah, but the humour doesn't... They've got to do their own humour. They can't take our humour. We can take theirs, but they can't seem to take ours or work it.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times, like Space they try to do. And
they have In-Betweeners,
they have hit it a few times, and they've got lucky on a few times.
But we have that one universal comedy language, which is different from most. So.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Nice. Scott now. What's your number 5, sir?
Right, my number 5. Again, I kind of picked ones that are just sort of overarching from a young age to now. So my number 5 was South Park.
Nice.
Just because, again, I quote it. I've watched it to death. Again, I think it's another one of those shows where originally it was very good in the first few seasons.
Yeah.
I found in the last few years it's dropped off a little bit. But overall, some just classic lines. Then it was made by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, started in 1997 till present. It's about 4, 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds in a little town in Colorado, South Park, and just they got whatever they get up to really, and just the humour is just. I mean, how would you even describe the humour of South Park?
I'll explain it as my number 2.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's got to be in your top 5.
It's got to be it was close to being the top, but for the amount it's quoted. The reason I like South Park and the way that they've done it is I watched the show and they basically write each episode 6 days and then they send it to Paramount at like 7, knowing full well they only have 2 hours to sort of edit it. But still by, like, it's got to be there on the Sunday, and still by Saturday he still hasn't written it, and this is every single week, and it's just him who does it, you know. And this program about how they made South Park was brilliant. And then I appreciate of how something will happen in the news and then not even a week or two later South Park are ripping it, and it's so current and fresh. That's where South Park really got me. Like when they, like, you know, someone's died and you go, right, they're on it, or a sexual abuse, or some, you know, some sort of.
But so it keeps up to date with everything, basically.
They keep it fresh. I mean, it's dropped.
They haven't always been like that.
No, and that's where
they've almost done that in the later seasons.
That's where it kind of elevated for me to be. I love to watch that, because I mean the older stuff and the technology wasn't as good. I liked it because it was kids swearing back at school, and you like kicking the baby, and you know,
kick the baby,
and the alien. It was really shit comedy, and then
Starving
it started
Marvin
to
and all that.
Really, what they do perfectly is they rip everything. You think they're going one way, and then Kyle will come in and like he's taking it from another way, and Cartman's taking it from this way, and like
nothing is sacred.
Nothing is sacred, but no one gets offended because everybody gets sort of ripped, and they make out on like how stupid certain scenarios are, and you know, like. No, I won't say. But you know what South Park is.
Sure,
not offend anyone who listens to the show, doing their beliefs or whatever. But you know, they nail it. They're saying what we're thinking, and like
it's amazing how they get away with a lot.
Yeah,
I'm very surprised how they get away with the stuff.
I mean, and literally with a new season, there'll be lots of quotes like integrity. You know, and it's just little things like that tickle us, you know. So that's why it's my number 2. And
so does it still go today as well?
It still goes today. And like it was the recent season wasn't too long ago, and but obviously I don't think they churn them out as much anymore because they've made the money and they don't want to.
Sure. It's good that they're still going, though, in all fairness.
I mean, season is like 30, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, I used to love watching South Park, but the thing is that I couldn't keep up with it after a certain season, and I probably would still watch it now, to be honest, but I personally thought it'd finished, so that's why I didn't realise it was like
24. I mean,
24 seasons. Wow.
Yeah, my friend Marcel, he properly watched South Park, so he kept me sort of. You know, stuff churns out, but he was like, "Oh, you got what, you know, South Park." It was like we go around to his, and he'd put South Park on. You know, it was one of his go-to, and same with my mate DJ. South Park and Family Guy always just. It was an easy watch while we're having a bit of a smoke and a chill out. You know,
I feel that Matt Stone,
Trey Parker,
like their humour. Dips into that.
Because we knew we'd love it from basketball and
exactly.
Was it
Orgasmo. They did Cannibal, the musical, and
I'm dying to go and see the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, I want to see that as well.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that as well.
I'm really going to try and get tickets for that at some point once we're back to normal.
Yeah, I'm not surprised how was it the FCC in America hasn't been able to shut them down.
No, but they do it in such a way. They need people to complain, but
But that's good advertising.
They don't do it in a nasty way.
Yeah. No,
it's very subtle. You know what they're implying.
It's technicalities they use.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah, like the stuff with the Trump and all of the the family, the whites.
Yeah.
You had all of that. You know what they're trying to imply, but the way that they did it was it was you know.
Yeah.
The stuff they imply in other shows like the Manatee episode, episodes for Family Guy, so they collect random scenarios and
picking it out. The Family Guy one where they're going to show Muhammad and
sacrilege.
Wasn't there one a few years ago where they did a rib on China about their politics? And now China's banned the word South Park from Google or something. Is that
surprised?
Is that real?
Probably. Well, there's that guy. Is it one of the countries over there? Winnie the Pooh's been banned because their prime minister or president looks like it, and it's illegal to show. It's illegal to show a picture of Winnie the Pooh in one of these.
What's
So it wouldn't be surprising that South Park would be banned.
I love the fact about South Park that it's basically two characters, well, not two characters, two people voicing. So if you get like a government agent come in, it's Matt
Still
Stone,
the same characters,
Trey
yeah.
Parker.
Yeah.
They do all the same voices. I love the detective pairing, and anytime they do like a
The
president,
Game of Thrones Black Friday Bundaroo special.
Yeah.
You know, where they all, and it's just like they're doing like the White Walkers come in just as the shoppers. Like nail it, you know.
It's going to betray you.
so
The
aware
Garden
of
of
himself.
Betrayal. Yeah, so South Park definitely, it had to be on my list, you know.
Nice.
Comedy genius.
Yeah, I think Mr. Jefferson was the last episode I ever saw. Mr. Jefferson, yes.
My special wishing tree.
Come on, let's climb the tree.
Climb the tree with a flag.
So have you got anything else to say on it, Scott?
No, just it's awesome. Like I love it. I've always loved it, and yeah, it's quality.
Yeah. Favorite episode.
And you guys like the movie as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw it cinema
Yeah.
when it
Oh,
came
movie's
out.
fantastic.
Yeah, obviously, and then Team America being...
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's got to be in there, because after the last episode you were on,
Yeah.
it's like, South Park's got to be in here
Well,
somewhere.
Yeah, it has, and just everybody sort of loves it, you know, it's not one of those... I mean, you've got to be out of an older generation.
Do they still kill Kenny every episode?
No. They kind of stopped
He's
that,
gone now,
and like... he became a superhero, didn't he?
Oh, did he? I don't know. So,
They killed him and then they brought him back again, and then pretended that they never actually killed him off.
Well, yeah, like it turned out to be, was it his parents went to a Cthulhu cult, wasn't it? And it ended up, that's why he keeps being reborn every time he dies. It's the,
Makes sense.
yeah, so they all become superheroes. And you got the, oh, that's a good episode.
okay. Nice, good choice, guys. Phil, what's your number 5, sir?
Okay, my number 5 is Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I love that show. I think it's a mixture of melodrama, comedy, seriousness, heartache. You know what I mean? You get attached to each individual character. It's based on like a family. So it's like almost like The Simpsons, but IRL, in real life, isn't it? So the actor Bryan Cranston, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
obviously gone on to bigger things.
Yeah.
Frankie Muniz did a history of films after it, which weren't super successful, but, you know, Agent Cody Banks and all that kind of stuff. But I love Malcolm in the Middle. I just love the quick editing and the pop culture influences that it has in it. And like I say, each individual character has their strong points, much like Lois, the mum, who's like the matriarch of the family. And she basically controls rules over, and you've got Reese, who's the kind of like ADHD child, and you've got Malcolm, who's the genius, and you've got Dewey, who's the youngest, but somewhat he's clever too, and you've got Francis, who's at military academy. And I think when we're at Blockbuster, there's just so many quotes, like, you know, the Paquita Cabeza thing, and
That was the biggest one.
Like just the way that they end up just, you know, he's getting screwed.
yeah,
Like,
Malcolm's going to get screwed. Basically, the
at
premise of
end
the show
it,
is
Malcolm's going to get screwed.
a
you know?
genius in a kind of dumb world, if that makes any sense. Much like Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yeah.
maybe.
Very-
Like,
Yeah.
he gets screwed. Like, he gets perpetuatedly screwed over because he has to put himself in these scenarios. Do you know
Very
what I mean?
similar to like Everybody Hates Chris. as
Kind
well.
of, yeah. Yeah, it's just a classic show.
But the editing and the way the storylines, it's one of those shows that I've watched pretty much, you know, 70% of. You know, I've not watched it all, but they are.
How many seasons was it?
I think 7, I think.
Wow, I didn't realize
But
that
the
many.
only criticism I have is when the show obviously exponentially grew and it was, you know, getting sold to bigger networks in America, they started involving like storylines to do with Francis off the farm. You know, those he finished military, and I didn't really. They invested characters in it which were just a little bit subpar and one dimensional. So you know, the way it was, the format of it being at home, and maybe their school life or job life, like, was interesting. And then you get like Craig, who works at the supermarket, who's obsessed with Lois, and you got Hal doing his, you know, he's either getting up to something. He's much like the eldest son, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hal, like, what's the one where he's the runner, Walker?
Oh, the Power Walker.
Yeah, the Power Walker episode is an
And
absolute
he's-
classic.
Yeah, he catches the guy doing the hop.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing with Malcolm in the Middle is one of those shows that was like on at, I think it was on at 7 in prime time, and then it dropped to like 5:30. And you know, when you watch stuff at 5:30, they normally have the canned laughter, and they could be funny maybe once in a blue moon. But this was one of those shows that was on at that time that was genuinely funny.
Yeah, I just still watch it now. Like, it's on all 4, I think. So if anyone wants to watch it, you can do.
Yeah.
But it's just for me, like,
No, I knew that would be on yours.
yeah, I think it's just repetition of how much I've watched it, and it's like it's almost very not annually, much like you guys watch The Rock, but like I like to go, I like to dip into it and just go like it's almost like background
Greatest film
TV.
of all time.
Like,
I was going to say, go back to it and there's something in the background, yeah.
but who's anyone's favourite character from it?
What, The Rock?
Choose
I
one.
never really watched it. I think I watched the third season when it came out on Sky 1 years ago. I've never really watched it since.
Yeah, I'm the same. I kind of watched odd episodes. I never followed. I didn't even know there was 7 seasons. To be honest. But I caught the odd episodes from my after school and stuff. But never really voted. But I did enjoy it from when I watched it.
Remember, you used to being terrified of the mum because she just constantly shouted at her, and I was just like, I'm scared my mum's going to pick this up and do this to me.
So they're trying to outsmart her, weren't they? But
That's right,
she was
yeah.
always
Never
ahead
something
of
like
the
that.
game.
She wasn't stupid though. She wasn't like she knew.
Yeah, she knew.
She wasn't like violent
She'd
or
look at
anything, but
Reese
she
and
did,
just
you
go.
knew that you were in for a. Even the dad was scared. You know, sometimes they'd all gang up, going like, "We can't let mum know."
One of my favourite episodes is, when Lois gets her dress burnt. And the boys know that they're in trouble because they got like a family dinner or something. They burn her dress that she was looking forward to wearing. But she starts like interrogating them, doing like individual interviews with the boys to try and catch them out, and then they're on the phone to their older brother Francis at the military academy, and he's guiding them against the mum because and everyone at the military academy is listening in to him on the phone, It's a lot of good episodes, and Hal's overacting.
Oh, he's brilliant.
I was actually rewatching it again recently, and the episode where they think the house is haunted.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was the reason why it was so hard for me to start when I watched Breaking Bad, because I started it pretty much as it came on, and you watch the first few episodes, and then it changed, and it was very hard to get. You're like, he's been hilarious. For so long for me.
It's so weird you saying that, because when Tim recommended Breaking Bad to me, people weren't watching that specifically because everyone thought he was a comedic actor. Yeah. And now it was the fact it was a serious role. People couldn't get into Breaking Bad at all. And no one did for years.
He's so good an actor. He does a lot of stuff. And I just started watching this thing on Sky called Your Honor. And it's a completely different...
Yeah, just finished that,
Yeah, he has a whole spectrum of what he can do.
Yeah,
and he can do comedy brilliant. Yeah. That's the great thing. It's pretty much his...
He's a good actor. Yeah,
I think the show as well was based on the writer of it. Obviously, used his own personal scenarios from his own life, so he could write it very well. And they did it actually on set, on location, so they had to bring the lights to the house and all that kind of stuff. And so it was like, I think the last of its kind to do that before they started redoing set builds and all that kind of stuff.
Sets kind of, it can take away the...
Yeah, they wanted warmth to it and familiarity, so you would watch it much like The Simpsons and the couch gag. Even Malcolm in the Middle has a couch gag at the beginning. There's like a minute where the boys are sitting on the couch and you can hear Lois come in and she's screwing about something and they're trying to get out like who's going to get the blame for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or the classic thing where you pretend to punch yourself and you complain that someone's hurting you, and then Lois comes in and pulls away Reese and he's like, I didn't even touch him. Like, you've all done that with our siblings.
Typical brother stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's eating the ice cream or the snack that he just wants to eat alone because he won't share it.
It's every man.
Screwed. Yeah. Good choice.
So who's your favourite characters?
I don't know. It's depending who I resonate with. I think I love Malcolm just on the way he perceives the world, and I love Hal. But
it'd have to be Hal and the older brother,
Francis. Yeah.
But then his battle with the military leader,
Spangler. Yeah, that's good as well. Yeah, there's this military leader on it who's almost like a boss fight, like in a computer game. Much like his mum, he's an authoritative figure. So Francis
he can break anybody, but he can't break Francis. And brilliant.
Yeah, it's like one of those things he does where he punishes the whole platoon.
Okay,
and Francis doesn't get punished, so the platoon start hating him. That's a way of punishing Francis.
Okay,
yeah, so it's worth watching.
What about you, Scott? And you got a favourite one?
I would have to say Hal as well, just because again comedy. Just the way he just screams and gets scared by things and just as best as I can do it. The episode with the murder family, they find out their house is like a murder house. The people got killed, and Malcolm's explaining to Hal where in the house bad things happened in that the murder. And honestly, Hal's reactions, I crease up.
Nice. Good choice, guys.
Nice.
Life is unfair. My number 5. My number 5 is one of those ones that used to be on BBC every Friday night. It was one of those ones that would come on not long after Red Dwarf, and that's Harry Enfield and Chums.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Absolutely love Harry. Is it on anyone's list?
No.
Close.
So yeah, it's just like there is so much to that. This was Little Britain before it was Little Britain.
Yeah.
It was around. You know, you had the origin of Karen and Perry and Mr. Chumley Warner, the old Gits.
Yeah.
There's not one gag in there or one sketch that you did not laugh at, even though you didn't laugh at the rest of the episode. There was always one thing in there you would laugh at.
Yeah.
Like maybe the two gay German guys. You know, to write to me is my lover, and
I found, I don't know if you, because I'd gone back and I watched it as a kid and I never found stuff funny. And I went back as an adult and I crack up now at the Amsterdam police officers.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Kid, and now I go back and
to the right of me is my lover.
Yeah.
you got the German guy who's like, I'm sorry about the war.
Yeah.
Tim Nice but Dim.
Yeah.
I love the two parents arguing over. The kid is like, obviously I love him, or as much as I loathe you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're always arguing, trying to get one up against each other. And it's like,
that's right. Yeah.
Thanks again. You've ruined another Christmas. I've ruined another Christmas. If it wasn't for you, there would be. Now you got us arguing in front of the kid again.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you can remember it straight away. As soon as you mention Harry Enfield, it's like comes straight back to you. Even little things like when they did the Goodfellas skit where they cut out all they dub it like fun you a-hole and all that sort of stuff, and did you fun my wife and all that sort of stuff.
That was actually before Harry and Chums.
Or was it before that?
Which I preferred. It was the Harry and
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. This is the one before it.
Television program.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Harry and Chums was the one afterwards.
Okay, what's the one that had Playboys on it?
Yeah, that's Harry and television program.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Harry and Chums was one when Lulu and what's her name?
Yeah.
Lulu and Harry, was it? Yeah. I'm talking the one before that. Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, Harry and television program.
Yeah.
Which for me was the best one.
Yeah, that's the one I'm trying to get at. Sorry. Did I say Chums? Sorry.
I'm more towards Chums because I love the slobs.
Yeah.
So they were in the.
But they were in both, weren't they? They were in both.
Well,
the Scousers.
The Scouts.
Like Kevin and Perry were in both as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Kevin and Perry. I mean, I got. That was what I was labelled every time I had it.
Oh, who was it?
As a kid, all right, Kevin.
Yeah.
What was the superhero ones called?
Playboys.
No, the superhero ones. There was like the Sons of Justice. There's like a guy who had a purple helmet, and then there's a guy with Iceman.
Oh, I can't remember now.
Again,
it's gonna bug me.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know who you want right here.
Justice, League of Justice or something.
Yeah.
They would be like trying to stop bank loans and stuff. It wasn't actually a superhero's job, but they would just like want to freeze the assets. So the Iceman comes in, and just freezes the actual table. And stuff. What was on the aliens?
Cartoons and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's the one with the farmer and the... what's the one with the farmer and...
Chums.
Ted.
The gay farmer.
Yeah, it's like a meta story.
Yes, right, yeah.
So it runs throughout a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's
the
obviously
sexual tension between one of them.
Yeah, but it's the way Paul Whitehouse plays that character. And
that's right.
I like the one where he's the street market.
Like in front of the fish market sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like that's what kind of like when you sort of come conscious and you start like, at school. It was watching Red Dwarf, Harry and
That's
Exactly.
That's what I say. Yeah, and
Fab FM.
Didn't he do? Wasn't there like a bartender?
Smash and Nicey, that's it. Yeah.
And there's always at the start of it would be dead empty in this bar, and he'd be like, "Maureen, my love, get a bit busy down here."
Oh yeah,
but you never got to see her either, did you?
No one around. It was just him. So.
It was always him,
and no one got their drinks.
And there's one Mr. Chumley Warner episode I'll never forget because I'll still crack it to this day. It was when they do the football match. But he glues the ball onto his foot and he pretends that he's got the ball with him all the time. That is a fantastic gig. I don't care what anyone says. But the only issue with Harry Enfield now is that there are some gags in there which would not get past today at all.
No, it's a time capsule now.
Yeah, this is the issue now.
That's why it's great, yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of gutted he still doesn't do it now, but...
It wouldn't work now, that's the problem.
This is the issue.
No.
This is it.
His humour is ingrained in.
Yeah, just get complained at.
Yeah.
Justice Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the thing he brought out a few years ago and it just you know, they give it another attempt, don't they?
Yeah, he did that with Paul Whitehouse, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was called now.
I didn't watch it.
No, I didn't.
I think I watched an episode and it just was like, it's just...
That's what I did. I was watching, I was like, no, it's not going to work.
But I do like Harry Enfield. I think he's
I can't not put him in the top 5.
No,
but
it's
just
definitely a childhood one for me.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it had to go my one because I mentioned the childhoods earlier.
Loads of money.
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's how he started originally.
That's how I
was the
remember.
whole loads of money character.
That song came out.
Yeah.
My dad constantly played.
Wasn't he in Men Ben Valley as well? Before
the whole
first
season
Yeah.
on ITV before it went to BBC.
Yeah,
I liked him. He was really
because
good.
they were great on the Friday nights. You watched that, and then after that, it went to the Fast Show.
That's what I'm saying, because Red Dwarf used to be 9 o'clock on BBC Two, then at 9:30 you'd have Harry Enfield, and then it'll go into other stuff, I don't know, Match of the Day or something, or whatever. Yeah.
I was
Best
actually
comedy show ever. Match of the Day.
I don't know if anyone remembers this sketch, but I was actually watching it recently, and there was a sketch on it where like this well-to-do middle-class couple, like they live in like a manor house, and and then they go to like London for the weekend, and like they act like bums. They get like blackout drunk, hang out with like homeless people, like fight over chips, and then like by the end of it, there's a scene where he's passed out in like an alley, and you just see like someone else pissing down the wall, and like piss is like going next to their head, and then you see like the final scene, they drive back all posh to their like country manor house, going. So yes, that was another lovely weekend in the city. They're all like well-to-do again.
This is it. That's what I love about his comedy. There's always a skit that someone remembers. It's like, do you remember the boy band one he did?
Yes.
That was amazing. Like when they go to the hotel and they're like, they can't find his reservation. He goes, oh, this is fucking ridiculous. We're number 4 in the charts. And his mate comes in and goes, well, 104. 104 in the charts. But yeah, Harry Enfield, I could not put him on the list.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, number 4, guys.
Nice.
Number 4.
Tim, what's your number 4, sir?
All right, we're heading into American charters now. So, but
across the pond.
Yeah, but we'll cross the pond on the next one as well. So for this one, number 4, I forgot to finish. There's going to be a clash. So it's going to be the Office American version.
Yeah, that's my number 2.
2?
Yeah. No, sorry, number 3. Beg pardon, number 3.
I thought that was going to be your number 1.
No. I'll be very surprised if anyone has my number 1. Very surprised. Okay. But no, this is my number 3.
Number 3.
Go for it.
Cool. Yes. So compared to it's near enough the same as the first season, but so it's all about a bunch of idiots in an office, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
People just trying to get through their mundane job by doing like just banters and screw jobs. And
having one of the best bosses ever.
The greatest boss that you could ever want. So
I don't know, Grant. If you're listening, Grant, you're a great boss.
Yeah, definitely. Number 1. Right. Which one would you say in comparisons to the UK one? Because I think that's going to be the demographic.
Right. So remember we were going back to the questions earlier that I said that there was a show I knew of but never went and did it.
Yeah.
So sorry if it's in your guys, I hate the British version. I cannot stand it. It was the reason why I never watched the American one until years. I think it was on season 3 at the time of The Office. You had said the DVD said, "And watch the basketball episode and just see what you think." And this is going back to what I was saying about our question earlier. Yeah. That's how I kind of got into it was because of that episode. Right. And then I showed it to my missus, and she loved it, and then we just started from there off and just fell in love with it straight away. Yeah, because
I watched the UK one first, which I did enjoy. But to the extent of when the American one came out, I didn't like the first season that much until, like I said, the basketball episode. Sure. Because that was the only one that was different, because every episode from was exactly the same as the first one, but just Americanized. But the basketball episode, I was like, there's something. Yeah. And then obviously second season, they got better.
Yeah, because there was only 6 episodes, wasn't it, the first season?
Yeah. But in comparisons, I mean, there's definitely a different animal to it. Like I said, they got the British humor and American humor, which is completely different. But in comparisons with why I prefer the American one to the British one, is the characters I feel more inclined with.
100%.
Yeah, I love the story arc of all the characters in the American one compared to the British one. The British one has all the good gags, which I like, but the American one just has...
But this is the thing, I don't feel like the UK one only had that one with the dance. Everyone was just waiting for that episode, you know.
There's other one. Yeah, I mean, my favorite one from the British one is him when he's singing that song.
Song. Sorry, yeah.
That gets me. That's probably my favorite British one. But no, the American one, I love the characters. the way it progresses, you're just hooked very much.
Sure.
The likability and relatability is in each of the characters, and I love how it follows. It's a good story, and if the story's good enough, it's better than
it continue on, and then you had more like season 2. The first episode, the Dundies, is a cracking episode. What a way to start a new season, start off fresh, because you could see how low budget the first one was, and how they tried to sort of tweak it the same as the UK one. But no, I just it's like you said, I just grew with these characters, and I just felt how why couldn't the UK one carry on with this? As much as I didn't like it, I don't say why they couldn't have just carried on as well. Whereas the Americans, I think we went back to saying how British they don't do their British ones as good. And Chris said, actually, they do a good one. And this is a prime example that the Americans can do it.
Oh, definitely.
I'll be honest, I like Ricky Gervais. Yeah. But I didn't like David. Is it David Brent?
David Brent. I
didn't get him when they first came on. I didn't realise either it was a mockumentary or what. And I didn't get that. I probably got the humour. I just never gave it the chance. And I've never watched anything with The Office in the American one. And I'm like, I've heard good things, but obviously, as much as I know, is the memes and the gifs.
Yeah. Sure.
And they work brilliantly. And they're like, I think they. So it's one of those things I was going to watch, but I think even Netflix took it off, or something that's
it goes back and forth. It goes to Prime and Netflix all the time.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I might give it a go.
It's rough, yeah. And like I said, the first season is rough. Like getting through the first season is hard.
Yeah, just watch the basketball episode. That's it.
I found that with Parks and Recs.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a good example.
It's a good show, but it's definitely one where
I'm slugging through this first season because someone recommended it gets funny, and I was like, I've got to get through this first season.
Yeah. If you like Parks and Rec, it's the same writers. So,
I mean, it's along those sort of
because it's almost like a dramedy because it has that good drama as well. Like there's good emotional moments in there where you felt something, and that's what I love about The Office, the American one. I felt more than with the British one. The British one had that when we were with Tim and that what was her name? Him and that girl, the secretary. What's her name?
Pam.
That's the American one.
I don't know about the British one.
Yeah, like the story in the British one, that's all it has, really. Like, that's only emotional investment. Whereas with the American one, there's loads of characters with more investment. So, the American one's great. I love it.
I think as well, where American Office, it's like, at first when I heard it was coming out, I was like, the Americans are trying to do another British knockoff again. I wasn't too much into the UK Office. I watched a few episodes, but I've never been like, it's like one of my favourites.
No, definitely.
But then, I started watching the American Office, and over time, and it actually was quality. And I was like, it's actually. Thing is, after a few seasons, it became its own thing. It stopped worrying about being sort of from the UK Office.
Exactly.
It shook its shackles. Almost.
It became its own thing. That's where they fell in the first season.
They grew into it. Yeah. So definitely, Chris, binge watch it. Cause
I think I might do.
It's good.
Yeah.
The rivalry between Jim
and Dwight is the best rival.
Honestly,
it's great.
It's a game of one-upmanship.
So
Jim
banter
is that with like
the pranks alone are brilliant.
And the jelly and stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen
banter.
So good. Honestly, the amount of times I'm pissing myself. Was it Mega Desk?
Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, Asian Jim.
Yeah,
Asian Jim.
I love Asian Jim.
So classic.
And the episode, the Christmas episode, where Dwight finally,
was that with the snowman?
Yeah.
That shot of him on the roof.
Yeah, the shot
amazing.
of him on the roof is so real.
It's amazing. Just the way he looks down on Jim. Jim is just like bashing that snowman down, and he's just like looking and smirking like the Dark Knight almost. But it's great.
No, it was a good episode. That.
There's loads of good
episodes. Who's your favourite character overall? Would you say now you've watched it back to back to back? And I know obviously we quote certain people, but who would you say now is your ultimate favourite?
It's definitely Dwight.
Because I know you like.
It's Dwight.
What's his name? What's the guy who's kind of crew?
Creed.
He's
underrated. He is one of my most underrated. He's like my second, but it's always going to be
He's just
Dwight.
not in it enough, though, is it?
No, but when he is, he's great. Like I like how he's almost like a scene stealer. Like he only have like a few minutes of screen time, but those few minutes will count. Dwight though is always top. I love Dwight. Great character.
Same for me. Dwight's quality.
I like Dwight, but I do have a soft spot for Kevin. I think
Kevin's good.
Kevin's got some great gags, especially when Thingy thinks she's a retard and he plays along with it. It's just fucking.
Would you like an M&M?
Yep, this is my car. Do you have your own car? Favorite episode, sir?
Ooh. I couldn't say it's my favourite, but it's the one I've watched the most. Is the fire drill episode?
Yes, yeah, it's a good opening as well. That
when
one.
Dwight's under management. It's when he does a smoke fire test. Have you seen that one? Do you remember that one?
I can't remember. But
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was Stanley had a heart attack.
And then you got the Hannibal Lecter thing.
Yes.
'Cause that's in the same episode.
Yep.
It's got that episode. I think it's season 5.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
But
that's
the
the Crime Aid
madness.
episode.
Crime Aid, that's it.
It's the madness. Like everything's
It's
going
just
on.
chaos.
It's just
And
chaos.
Stanley
Yeah.
having the heart attack. And
Yeah.
like,
And Andy has one of the best lines in there. The fire's shooting at us.
and Dwight's most badass line when obviously he's going to do a fire drill. He's got a bucket full of paper. Smokes a cigarette. He goes, "Today, smoking's going to save lives." And just like puts the bit on fire.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I love Dwight. He's amazing.
Do you guys have a favourite episode?
Oh, one more actually. I would have to say the dinner
Party.
Dinner party.
Yep.
I think anything. I like the Dundies.
Yes.
Dundies.
Yeah.
And I just think when it's like I like Ryan and his kind of stance because obviously they added people characters.
That's right. Yeah.
Snide.
What's the guy who was very late and he was in the thick of it, or the weird tall looking guy who's like the
Gabe.
Gabe? And all that kind of stuff. I think they obviously put people
Creepy
in
dude.
which were kind of like of the Parks and Rec and all that. You know, they were within the same bubble. But yeah, there's certain people and episodes that I just. Even we were watching the UK one yesterday, and you know the one where David Brent has to fire someone because there's like a sexual reference that's been hidden in a file, and it's like, you know, it crosses so many lines, and it's his best mate. Who's his best mate? Who's like a joker in it? Finchy, and he comes into the office, and he's a big. What's the American
Version of him.
version to Michael Cera?
Todd Packer, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Todd
it. Yeah,
Packer.
yeah. I like that dynamic.
Tom
yeah.
Packer.
Champion, pretty much. That
Steve
Yeah.
Carell can't front up to because he knows he's lesser, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously, what's the girl he's with who's upper management? Not Pam, the blonde girl.
Oh,
who's with-
Jan.
And he has that whole relationship. So, like you say, they kind of patch on to a bigger. Yeah, I just enjoy everybody in it. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
What's your favourite emotional moment? What was the most emotional impact for you? There's some good drama in there as well.
I think the last episode definitely for me, especially when
What, the
it's
very last one?
the very last one. Like,
Really?
yeah, it's the last shot, pretty much, when it ends.
Interesting.
The louder you declare their name, the more honour you bestow upon your guests.
Oh, that's the garden party.
Garden party.
Yeah,
That's towards the end, isn't it?
Mr. Pam.
One episode and it ties in with emotion. One episode that really stands out to me that I always remember is the end of season 5, where Michael Scott, he starts up his own paper company.
That's a great season. It's 5's probably my favourite season.
Yeah, he starts up his own paper company because he gets let go from the company.
Yeah.
No, he quits.
Well, he quits.
He quits.
Yeah. And then eventually he goes in and gets bought out by Dunder Mifflin. And like all before that episode, you think, oh, Michael Scott is a bit of like, not an idiot, but like he's socially awkward. You don't know how he's actually good, but then he pulls that off. And
Like
he's
an
like
idiot savant, is that the word?
yeah, that's we've disposed, but and like that really gets him over that emotional attachment.
Yeah.
I think with him, like you actually go, actually no, he is good. He is a good businessman. It's weird.
Yeah, because he's not totally shit at his job. He's a people person at the end of the day.
Yeah. Sorry, going back to what you were saying about emotional bits. The only reason it's my emotional one was because it was the realization it was ending. For like every year, because we couldn't have it. We didn't have it on any of channels in this country.
Yeah.
We had to, or me personally, had to wait for the box sets to come out.
Yeah.
So every September, Universal would release the whole lot and Blu-ray would get it imported from America. And it was like this thing that me and my wife looked forward to every year.
Yeah.
You know, just smashing out and binging one of our favourite shows, comedy shows of all time. And when that ended there, it's just like, I'm not happy with how it ended to a degree. But the way it just like, fuck, that's it. No, we can't do this again anymore now.
Yeah. What, have you swapped it for something? Are you and your wife first?
No, it's just nothing's compared to it since.
You haven't started something else, and this is maybe you're getting the ball rolling for a new.
No, not really. Not. I mean, we always watch other stuff, but comedy wise, definitely not.
No,
I mean, we always watch obviously stuff like Your Honor and whatnot. And just,
you watch everything, but like, there's nothing that's.
But there's never been a comedy since that I can't wait for the next season sort of thing. Yeah. So that's why it was kind of a downer for me.
My emotional one was in season 6 when Steve Carell says goodbye to Jim.
Yeah,
That
good.
got me. I was like, oh, because the way Jim's like, they're both trying to hold composure, trying to keep it like, yeah. There's just that slight nod. Like, it's what their face expressions say, not what they say.
Yes.
It was great. It was just, they both just spoke so much just by looking at each other, and the way they felt emotion, it was great.
Show, don't tell.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's probably my best emotional moment. Yeah, great show, though.
Yeah, and my favourite episode is Threat Level Midnight, Season 7.
Oh, nice.
I love that episode. So that was your 4, my 3. Chris, what's your number 4, sir?
Number 4, right, this got recommended by a random. It was a bartender.
Oh, wow.
So I got in, I've ordered a pint of the charcoal, and they was going, oh, so how are you doing today? I was like, oh, I had a good laugh. I've been watching Community all day. So, and then they go, oh, have you watched The League? And I went, oh, no, what's that? And it turned out to be about a group of friends, like husband and wife and couples, and then they basically start a fantasy football league in America, so the NFL. Now, we do a football league over here.
Yes.
And the reason I love it so much is the way that they do the comedy in there. It's very scenario based.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, gates, like a Watergate scandal, or, like the missus will set up a camera in the house, but there'll be a blind spot.
Okay.
The comedy is like what he could do in the blind spot, and like,
and the twatty petty bets between them.
The premise is that they start fantasy football at the beginning of the
American
season,
football,
American
right,
football, and they draft it, and then all year you don't want to be last.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's
What's the trophy called?
It's called the Shiva, but the Shiva trophy, the Drades. You get the Drades.
No, what was the trophy for coming last?
Yeah, it was. It was the
Forever Unclean.
Forever. It was. It was
Forever Unclean trophy.
That's amazing.
You're the biggest loser, mate.
That's worse than a wooden spoon.
Yeah, so
Literally, it was the.
I'll find out. I'll look it up in a second. But yeah, it turned out the comedy in it and the way and the timing that it worked with me and my mates, because obviously I then told you.
Yeah,
then
I got straight on it.
I then told my mate Marcel, and then we're having like these battles are like, the quoting just became rife. And then as soon as we've started our fantasy football league with the football over here, we've carried on that culture from that comedy show,
right?
And we've taken it into our bands group and the way we do stuff. Like,
all I see are lies and collusion.
Yeah, because all you want to be, you just don't want to be last. And then there's people who don't try, who are doing better than people trying. So it's kind of like, and this one's a very niche one to me because of how we watched it. And
it's full of people that you would recognise from other shows. Like, what's the guy who's like a complete boundary breaker?
I've got it.
Weird guy. When you see this character,
he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's like the half.
Oh right, so he's from
Jason.
He pushes the envelope.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah. So like, and the scenarios and like the way just determining like your collusion.
Yeah.
When like people were screwing each other to help another person screw another one.
Yeah.
And like the amount of times Scott will say that in the football group, like there's collusion here, and like, and it's just
I would recommend it too.
And another thing, I tried to watch it again, and it's disappeared from all platforms. So
shit!
So like.
Damn it.
It obviously wasn't popular enough to stay on there or something.
It wasn't, but it was one of those like it just got me so much, and like how much I loved it. And what they did was it was 5 or 6 seasons. Yeah. It didn't overstay its welcome,
right?
And it got in and it got out.
So is it finished?
Finished.
Right. Okay.
Like because I did like Community. I don't know if you've watched that.
I've seen Community.
Yeah. But you get to like if they stopped at 5 or 6, probably would have made the top 5.
Yeah.
But then. The last 3, they are funny, but it's so poor.
Yeah, because actors started leaving Community and stuff,
and before the end of it was no cast, and it was just
no point.
Yeah,
even I have to admit, in the first season I joined because fantasy football, you did a season without me.
Yeah, and we brought you in because like we wanted the bands and
because I didn't really know the full loopholes of how to manage my team that everyone had learnt.
year before.
I was last, so I became.
So you got the
you got the honour of being last.
I became the taco guy.
Yeah, no. What was it?
I became taco.
You started to say that you weren't last. It said, well, you are bottom of the person with
with login details.
Bottom with login. The other person lost his login details years ago, so he was bottom with login details.
Right.
You know?
I was at least above him, but yeah, I became.
It is really, really funny, and the scenarios are great. And I mean, you don't have to like NFL because it's not about. That's an underlying
right.
Yeah.
So
it's the banter of like them during in the weeks screwing each other like for the drafts, and because once you pick your team, that's it, you know, and then it's just the banter between the lads, and it's brilliant. But the reason, it's because of how we've taken it as a group, and we've incorporated the whole thing. Because you've started to talk to my mates in Torquay who you don't know, but there's a full blown.
It becomes history.
Yeah, we've got our own little league TV show in this messenger group, and it's savage. Everybody gets brutalised, and it's brilliant, you know. And it's all down to the league. Yeah. Because I didn't want to do fantasy football because I don't like cheering other players.
No, it's very confusing.
But the show tickled me that much that we have a whole week worth of bans, and then the football comes, and then it's banned, you know. And this all stems from...
You start the bans all over again.
My phone does not shut up sometimes.
Yeah, so it all stems from this one show just being at the right time, at the right place.
And it's something that you all are interested in as well, so it's kind of good how it connects with all of you guys as well.
Yeah. Is this the Malwam Cup?
Oh, that's a different bet, but like that's...
we won't go into that. That's something.
That's a side bet.
I hear that a lot. I'm always
No.
Okay.
No, that's just...
that's comedy in its own sense.
Okay. I won't even begin.
The league, if you can find it, and you do enjoy sports, but you don't have to enjoy sports if you just like the banter between friends, and it's good banter.
Sure.
Yeah.
How did I get compared to Andre in the group?
Because you think you're better than you...
No, I don't. No, you want to think that I think
you are
better. No.
So that was your number 4, sir?
Number 4.
Scott, what's your number 4?
Right, my number 4 is, and again, this is more of an overarching comedy from when I was young to now. It's almost a crime not to put it in. It's obvious. It's The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's my number 4.
Is that your number 4 as well? Awesome. Has anyone else got it?
No.
Yeah, good shout.
At first, it wasn't in my original list, but then thinking about it, it's like, it has to be.
Yes.
How can it not be?
Yeah.
Someone has to mention it. So, yeah, it's my number 4. It started in 1989.
Still goes today.
Till present. Made by Matt Groening. A lot of the ideas in it are from his upbringing. It's about a middle American family, typical nuclear family, and just what they go through in a day-to-day life. It's it's one of the most famous shows. If you haven't seen it, I mean...
That's it, mate. It's just, it's like, I'm kind of gutted that I don't watch it now. Like, I don't watch the newest. Do you watch the new stuff?
No, it has majorly dropped off in the last few seasons.
It's the same with me.
But how many seasons has it gone?
It's 32 now.
32 seasons.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, it's always on Channel 4, but we've just got Disney Plus. So I've deliberately...
The whole bunch is on there now.
I've just gone to 30. I'm starting to work backwards, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And they're not... The graphics and the...
Better, but they're not.
It's not...
It's not the same as what you had, is it? Yeah.
And even, like, what's his name? Hank
Azaria.
Apologised for doing the voice of, like...
Shouldn't have done that.
Like,
he had nothing to apologise for.
He wasn't even being... Well, he might have been, but, like, he probably classed as it. But, like, I don't think he could have just... Now's the time for me to stop. It's not right anymore. You didn't need to apologise.
No.
Social attitudes change.
There they do. Yeah. I think Simpsons is one of those things that I've been rammed with it so much. I love it, and I'd always watch it.
It's the older episodes, definitely.
Yeah, by far. And the gags in that are still hold up to this day as well. They're just superb.
Yeah. But then I don't like the animation. It's got there's a medium where the Santa, the old animation.
Yes,
I mean the gags are good, but I can't enjoy it as much as when they just polished it.
But dude, that's like what the early to mid 90s. Like,
it was good.
Yeah, it ran its course pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it should have ended a long time ago, but I just can't deny the older episodes. I used to it used to be Sunday every 6 o'clock on Sky One would be a new episode every day. even my parents were so, ingrained in watching the show. They wanted, like Phil mentioned the couch gag earlier. Every episode has a different one, doesn't it? They were like, well, 6 o'clock, let's see what the couch, gag is this week. Rah, 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 rah. And I hadn't watched it for years. When we arranged to do this episode, I was like, I want to put The Simpsons in, but is it worthy or not? Because there was so much to pick from. So I went back and watched an old episode, which is the Shelbyville episode.
The lemon tree.
The lemon tree, yeah. One of the best episodes.
Carter, boy.
Exactly. One of the best episodes in that. And, when it gets to the part where, yes, and marry our cousins and whatnot, it's like, it's comedy gold. It's like, how can it not go in here? It's brilliant.
The end with that story, like with the Shelbyville sitting down.
With a cool glass of turnip juice.
Yeah, turnip juice, yeah, I've always cracked that. I love The Simpsons. The bit with Heimer jumping Springfield Gorge.
Yes, one of my favourite episodes ever.
It's him going to make it, and you think he's going to make it, and then he gets screwed, and then he hits his head. So, but it's the way it comes up.
It's slapstick.
But then
gets in the ambulance and it crashes within a second.
But they do it like, I don't know, 5-10 years down the line, something happens again, and he ends up going down.
Does he go back to it again? I didn't know that.
He gets a beating every time he takes a hit, doesn't it? It's like, I like that slapstick comedy that they're having. It's weird, isn't it? It's like a combination of like pop culture references, films.
I love the film references.
If it wasn't for The Simpsons, though, and I South Park wouldn't be my number one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like Family Guy, and I wouldn't like Futurama.
Yeah.
It laid the foundations for cartoons not being genuinely for kids. They made it more of they started to add which then laid the foundations for Family Guy, South Park, and
they had extremely talented voice actors as well. So you mentioned Hank Azaria, and they had how do you say his name? Dan Castellan.
Oh, the guy who does Homer. Yeah, I fuck knows, man.
Yardley Smith, who
Nancy Cartwright,
and all that. They had a quality, and they have obviously guests that come on who are obviously trending at the time. So they have whoever so there's been Hollywood stars that have been in it. Who does the voice for Maggie? Is it?
Elizabeth Taylor did it.
Yeah. And she only says one line in the whole.
Got paid $250,000 for that as well.
I like how they do the future stuff. When they show like a sort of.
Well, they do nail it with that.
Yeah, like not. I mean, what's the episode where Bart's like drugged out in his bed and he's got long hair? Like those.
Is that
kind
one
of
where Lisa's president?
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I do like how they. And then also you got Sideshow Bob and Costa the Clown. And
I like anyone where like Willie.
Proper, the janitor.
My favourite one is I love the 24 episode. Like being
it's
like one
of
my favourite shows, and I was dying for a shout out.
Even when they did the opening to Sopranos, that was the Simpson version was so good at that. It was brilliant.
Do you remember when it came in the 90s, and I think like Do the Bartman came out?
Yeah, I love that track.
And I used to go to roller discos and they'd always play that song.
Do the Bartman.
It was so like like I said, there was handheld computer games for it.
Yeah,
they brought out the VHSs.
Bart versus the Mutants and all that stuff.
Yeah, going to people's houses and watching
arcade
the Simpsons.
game with the bowling ball and the Hoover. It was one of the greatest games.
Yeah,
Hit and Run on PlayStation 2 as well.
People, do you know what people keep asking for a remake of that game?
I see that
every year. They ask for a remake.
Yeah. So, favourite episodes, favourite characters.
So, favourite character for me would be Mo Sislak. By far. I fucking love Mo. He is brilliant. It's like some of the things like, there's an episode where Lisa comes in the bar.
How you doing, Midge?
Yeah, like Lisa cmes in the bar and they're like, the little cutie's got something to say. And all these guys intro. He's like, shut up, you bum, shut up. I just love him. He's brilliant. And when he's trying to get Shamu, he's got Shamu in the back of the bar. There's always something crafty about Mo. That's what I love about him.
Holding like Vietnamese, Russian roulette.
Yeah, Mo and Chief Wiggum are my favourites.
Panda fighting or whatever.
He's always got something.
One of my favourites in the last few years, definitely as I got older, was Skinner. I don't know why, but like Skinner makes me laugh more and more.
What's his real name?
Tamsin. I can't.
Yeah, you're close. Armin Tanzarian.
Armin Tanzarian. That's it. But yeah, just like the mundanity and he's minutiae again. He's one of them people. He's almost like, dare I say it, but a little bit Alan Partridge.
Yeah,
a little bit
true.
Like kooky, and that obviously the thing with him and him and Bart, and him and Sendington Chalmers, and just
I Super Nintendo Chalmers. Anyone else got a favourite character?
He's not in it often, but I love Comic Book Guy.
Yeah,
Comic Book Guy comes in, and
Yeah.
It's great, the collector.
He's elitist, isn't he?
He's elitist. Yeah. I like Grounds Willie Keep.
Groundskeeper Willie, yeah.
Whenever he goes, and the episode's kicking off. Or,
What's the one where he's Freddy Krueger?
Oh, so that's the Halloween episode, They're great episodes, the Halloween ones, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're so well written.
By far, I love that it's always 3 stories as well, so it's coming.
They're more favorite ones.
Because what is it? The guy died. Old characters like Troy McClure, and there was a voice actor who.
Yeah, he died. Which his wife killed him.
Was it?
Yeah, he found that he was cheating on her. She shot him.
Oh, you might remember me. Such a doctor says.
Dial M for murder, and mommy, what's wrong with that man's face?
No, Mr. Simpson.
No. Conversation may not happen.
Die, Troy. Die. Yeah. The Troy.
No, it stands for the Bart. The.
Yeah, I think I as a kid I liked Bart being a rebel, and
we resonated with that age group.
And then Homer's always been
his one-liners are so good.
Homer carries the show
by far.
Without him, we can all sit here and say, like this guy and this guy, but they don't work without Homer. Like
this is the
whole.
Yeah. It's the same with my dad. My dad used to love the show, but he would watch it just for Homer. It's definitely
I think he's brilliant.
I liked Hans Moleman as well. Hans Moleman's one of my favourites. Just some of the one-liners he comes up with was like, "If only this sugar were as sweet as you." He's just brilliant. Do you remember the? Sorry, before we go to Phil's, the Who Shot Mr. Burns scenario, when they come up with the whole, I think it was like 29 different endings or something they come up with. Did you guys, ever get into that? So when it was
we were in America at the time, and there was how they do the promo packs on the certain channels.
Yeah,
they'd be like, who shot Mr. Burns? Find out at 8 o'clock and all that. And it was really pushed as a bit, and even on they had billboards and stuff of a gun pointing out and
really,
it was really driven home.
Sky always played it, but then they didn't really have it as pumped as much as you did here, and we get very scattered episodes, so you might find out who continue next time, and then you watch the very next one, which is right after, and it'd be a rerun
or something, won't it?
Tree Top Horrors, a Tree House Horror, and you're like, oh, come on, we don't get the following on as such, and I didn't watch it as a kid in series form.
No, I never.
Yes,
to get the whole sense of the Simpsons in that.
Yeah.
So why do you think they chose the yellow fascia colour?
I think because it made it so you weren't really emphasising a race or anything. It made it stuff stand out. Contrast is one of the main colours that you sort of resonate.
Yeah, it gives it that. It's like why is South Park a certain animation? You recognise it from that, don't you?
It's just like I say. It's just if you showed it to someone who'd never seen it,
it's like
it'd take you a while to process.
It's in cartoons. You'll never get 5. They can't do 5.
They never do 5 fingers, do they? They always got 4.
It doesn't look right on cartoons. None of them. You can't. It's weird.
It's like a trademark. It's like a watermark almost. It's like it's their trademark.
Yes, that's the one I was looking at. Yeah.
So it's a standout thing. So rather than trying to replicate reality, it's just trying to say this is the show.
It's in its own universe.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you can't be blamed or.
Isn't there a gag in The Simpsons where they actually comment on the amount of fingers that they have, and they make
it's a running gag, isn't it?
Reference to it.
And doesn't Homer have like a vision, and his kids turn like proper
into
human,
real,
and he freaks out? Yeah.
I like what's the 2 aliens?
Kang and Kodos.
Yeah, I just like their perception of Earth and
don't look at me. I voted for Kodos.
Yeah, they should have their own show almost. I
mean the Halloween thing was sort of for them, wasn't it? Because they show up in every episode of that, didn't they? But good. So that was your 4, Scott. That was my 4. Phil, what's your number 4?
Right, my number 4, and I think I might have a clash here because I had to put it in the amount of repetition I've watched this show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So, Tim, if you want to come in on this one, I'm totally cool. I didn't mean to steal it.
Yours?
So this is my number 1.
Yeah,
it's your number 1.
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
That's fine. No.
I knew, but I've watched it so much that I'd just be like, I can't not put it in. So if you want to go and talk about it now, because it's your number 1, go for it.
So reason for why it's number 1, compared to every other sitcom, it's the anti-sitcom.
Yeah.
It's the only show where characters don't grow. They don't learn from the mistakes. There's no likability. There's no relatability. They are just degenerates, complete degenerates that learn nothing and don't grow as characters.
Yeah, they're all out to get each other.
And
they've
they're
all
out
got
to
big
screw.
egos. Yeah.
They're all out to screw each other. They all have their own ways. They all have their own meticulous ways of like their own egos.
Yeah.
That they're so wrapped in that they cannot convey with what the world is.
They're not empathetic.
No, whatever's happening in the world, it just doesn't resonate with them. They have their own way of thinking, and it's like their way or the highway, pretty much. And you've got each character that is completely like with their own basis of egotism. You got Dennis, who is by far the best on-screen TV comedy villain you could ever think of. I think he's the best narcissist I've ever seen in any TV show. When it comes to narcissism, he is the best.
Yeah, he is.
The best narcissistic,
He's got the God complex going on.
Yeah,
And
each character has their own complex. Dennis being that.
Yeah.
You got Mac, who is a behind-the-closet, wannabe tough guy. Thinks... he's a Jesus freak as well. He loves... Yeah.
And he thinks he's a martial artist.
Yeah.
And like got big muscles.
Yeah.
And he's obviously very chauvinistic in his attitudes. Yeah.
You got Dee, who is Dennis's sister, who wants to be a comedian. But obviously, as a group, she's the odd one out. She's like the weak link. She's always getting picked on. She never gets her comeuppance either. And then you got Frank, the dad of Dennis and Dee, who is, how do you put him?
Corrupt father
a disgusting human being.
But he was never in the first season, though, was he?
No, he saved the show by coming in season 2. Season 1 was kind of like very cheaply made, and it was
a
good.
pilot, honestly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it felt like a film school project sort of show. It was very under budget.
2000s.
Yeah. So they went with the writing with the first season. It was all about character development first season, but it wasn't enough.
It's about they work on a bar, which is an Irish themed Philadelphia bar.
Yeah.
So obviously they Charlie, who's like somewhat the janitor of the bar.
Yeah.
Dee's the barmaid. Dennis is the head barmaid, barman. Max, just works there as well.
The enforcer.
They're obviously working. Yeah, he's the enforcer. But the cameos as well in it, I forget to mention. There's so many people from the comedy realm that show up in it. Like, who's Country Mac?
So Sean
William Scott.
Yeah,
and all that. So it's like we have our favourite episodes.
Oh, there's too many.
Some are good, some are okay, some are great, aren't they? Like,
With Sonny though, I always find this one's the one I rewatch the most. I always find a new gag in episodes it's like, you know how you watch an episode and you know every single minute of what happens. With Sunny Philadelphia, I feel that there's too much happening within comedy.
A lot of layers.
So much layers that there's one episode that you'll forget has 2 good moments, and then there'll be like, and then you watch it again, you forget there's like another good moment. Each episode has so much more to give for me. I always find something new and fresh, and even with like Keeping in Times, like they're very meta with their politics and religion and stuff. So then they keep in with the times as well, and then they secretly keep it on the line with what they're trying to say, but
they're very forward about like the personal attacks. I'm not going to go into it because obviously watch it for yourselves if you haven't seen it. The personal attacks they have because they know each other so well. Obviously, Dennis and Dee are brother and sister, so they're constantly devaluing each other.
Yeah.
Charlie is almost like the bottom of the rung, isn't he? Like in a way, like they just rip on him.
He's the man child.
Yeah, like it's so worth watching. Like it's just crazy how this show didn't get a lot of commerciality, promotion. But
because I only know it because of Tim, so
cold,
I wouldn't have known about it at all.
It took me a while to snag onto it and realise that it was something worth watching. But it's so addictive. Even the beginning of the show with the theme. And then just videotaping Philadelphia. Yeah. Like, it's so classic now.
Yeah. It was basically royalty-free music. Instead of making their own theme tune, they just found a song that was on royalty-free. It was like, that's the show.
It works so well, though.
And now it is that show. Whenever you hear that song, it is.
It's like Ren and Stimpy. They used to do that. They used to have like classical orchestral themes used for the, on top of the animations. So I like that.
Yeah, and like most comedy shows, like I said, like every character has like this, like some sort of relatability or likability, where it's like you can understand this person. Like with these characters, they're despicable, and you're not supposed to cheer them, but yet you do because you don't want them to succeed. Almost, they're just terrible people.
Yeah, they're terrible people.
They are the worst kind of people you can think of. But I think that's what is more engaging for me.
I
it's
like watching the debauchery happen.
Yeah.
It's a car crash, isn't it? Yeah,
for me, it's like, when it comes to movies, like most people like watching films where characters are likable or relatable, or it's like you can understand them. For me, I find movies better when the character's interesting.
Yeah.
when it's not something that ingrains with me as such. But I want to, it's like a character study almost. So you just watch someone else become something that you're not. That's far more interesting, and I find that more engaging. These characters are if anything, there's a lesson to learn. Don't be like these guys. Pretty much.
What do they do to? What's the guy who literally gets more corrupted by the
Cricket?
Cricket,
He gets screwed.
He starts
Every
as like a priest, doesn't he?
And then he becomes homeless.
And then he becomes a priest again.
The priest that sells drugs or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because they're so toxic that they almost infect him.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
unluckiness.
that's right.
Yeah.
So it's you see his meta story happen and him and he loses an eye and all this kind of stuff. And what's the family as well that they hate that wear the dressing gowns?
McPoyles were amazing.
Like, incredibly cringy people, and they nail it, don't they? With the weirdness, they're just one of
the main McPoyle. He's in Westworld.
Yeah. And do you know who the McPoyle's grandfather is? The actor that plays him.
No,
it's
I can't remember now.
Guillermo del Toro.
Is it?
Yeah. So he's grandpa McPoyle.
Nice.
Yeah. There's like cameos as well. Yeah, like I said, we mentioned Sean with Scott as well. And they'll tackle heavy subjects.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One I liked recently was the how to do the bathroom gender assignment.
Oh, that
was good.
That was clever.
Like the signs for the bathrooms. Because obviously the whole transgender awareness or whatever.
Yeah, and then there's the comfortability of when you want to pee or poo in the same room with other people. It's kind of a thing. So it's like, how do we settle this? Like,
who is your favourite character?
Dennis.
And yours?
But to be honest, all of them.
All of them
they've all got their own thing.
Yeah.
Dennis is the one that I find the most. I mean, like I said, because I love villains in movies. I mean, he's top.
I can't understand how he's not been put into a role like that, because he did AP Bio, didn't he?
Yeah, which is almost a tame version of Dennis.
But I think he really needs to be plonked into a role where
make him a movie villain. Like a movie villain, he'd be perfect.
Yeah. He's in The Hunt, isn't he? What's the
small
role?
Small. Anthony, have you got a favourite character?
It'd have to be Charlie, because I love the Dayman.
Yeah.
Dayman's a great episode. That's a good episode, actually.
I liked Charlie when I first watched it. My favourite was Charlie. But I find the more you watch it, your favourite changes.
Yes, definitely.
With Charlie, it's more empathetic almost.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of empathise for him. He's the one you grow to, because he's like that man-child.
He gets screwed, and it's almost like you feel with him, there is an okay person in there, but he's affected by the rest of them. But even at first, I didn't really rate Dee as a character. But then
she got better.
But then she got better.
Yeah.
Like, I like how her bad comedy is the comedy.
Yeah.
I think Frank's like that as well. He doesn't start off well, but he gets better towards the end.
Yeah.
Like the later season when he's like, I've got AIDS just to get through, on a ride. I think that's brilliant.
It's not the good AIDS, it's the bad AIDS.
Good.
We should mention that Frank Reynolds is played by Danny DeVito, which added a lot of credibility in season 3, isn't it?
Season 2. Because no one was. There was no A-listers. Like everyone was like not even famous, pretty much. He was the only one, but he recognised that there was something there, and then as soon as he came on board, it just picked up and.
My mother. No, was it my ex-wife, the whore?
They drew first blood.
Yeah, no, it's great show. I mean, we quote me, you, Scott. We constantly quote. Even you, Phil. We just
we rewatch and requote.
You're still rewatching it.
Yeah,
I still do as well. Honestly, I just pick a random one.
Quick. It's just so quick.
20 minutes
with the one-liners and the cussing and the one-upmanship. I just really enjoy it.
It's about banter, Scrooge job,
atmosphere without being in it personally. You know what I mean? Like, these people day to day treat each other like this. Like, it's crazy. What's
your favourite episode?
Oh, do you know what I mean? It's just there's so many divisions.
Because it's the only one I can say I can't have one. One I've watched the most, I can't say, because honestly, I find new things every time. There's something new I'll find.
It's like, how many series is?
14.
Yeah, like we were watching it the other day from like back in 2005, like the first episode.
Would Mac Day be a contender for
Mac Day's up
episode?
There. I can do like top favourites. I mean, I can't pick one though. It's impossible. I can do top so that Mac Day would be on there definitely. The quarantine episode.
Yeah, that's
quarantine
good.
To watch now is actually really good.
Yeah. I found they did Mac Day, but then they didn't do days for all the characters.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, like they didn't have like a D Day or a Dennis
D Day.
Well,
that works.
Yeah,
What's
that
the
works.
Traditional game that they play.
Oh, Charlie McDennis.
Charlie
where they
McDennis.
play, and it's like a
Yes.
bar game to do with like drinking and doing certain tasks, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
They bring it back every so many episodes, don't they?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
much like
I've introduced a new round, the horror round. There is no horror round, Frank.
it's much like the league. They have to win this competition
Yeah.
with each other, and it's obviously
Yeah.
done on
It's
pairings.
like the moodiest.
Oh,
It's so moody.
Chris, honestly, like this game that they play
Charlie McDennis is
just devastating.
No, I go to look at it and I go to put it on. Is it in Netflix? And then it goes 1 to 14, and I'm like,
It's a lot.
it's a lot
Like-
of trust. Is
and I've watched a few, and like you say, they are not nice
no.
characters. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's a slog. It's
I think it's better to just throw yourself in at one point,
Yeah.
like maybe midway through the whole seasons, and just digest that episode instead of starting
Yeah.
from one and being overwhelmed. Just go.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going to pick maybe the most
That's
highest
how I
rated.
even-
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
the only
yeah,
comedy
because that's
show.
the thing. I can't. The way most people get into it, is if I came round to here and you're in an episode,
Yeah.
and you're,
Yeah.
like, you get indoctrinated into a swing of.
Yeah, the format of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or if you're watching it with someone, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you can.
Mm.
But yeah, it's something I've not properly watched. So I've only watched maybe 2 episodes, like
Yeah.
the first one.
But like I say, we'll all get round to it.
Yeah, I'd say do it from watch it from start to finish. I never watched it from the start though. That's the thing. I got I think I was on season 8. That's the first one I watched. But I was around mate's house from like nights out. I think it was Matt Chapman. Do you remember? Yeah, he introduced me to that show, and then obviously from then on, I was like, used to watch after nights out, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then I watched it from start to finish, and then it's good. Like the first season's a bit rough, but 2 onwards, it just gets better. It's the only one I think that grows as a show. Usually it dies down, like Simpsons dies down.
Yeah.
Still as good.
This is still good. That's
Yeah.
why it's 14 seasons, because it is that good. It just doesn't let down. It keeps going.
Yeah.
It's the longest running comedy show, and there's a reason for it. They've even announced 4 more seasons. 4 more seasons.
Whoop,
It's
whoop.
that good. I mean,
crazy.
for me, that's why it upstairs number 1, and it's unique. It's literally as I said, it's the anti-sitcom.
Yeah.
There's no show like it.
Yeah.
It's one of a kind. It's for me perfect. That's why it's my number 1.
Good choice, man. And it was your number 4.
Four.
So my number 4 is Taken, which was The Simpsons. So we're going to move to number 3.
Number 3.
Right, back to crossing the pond. We're going to the British Wars again. So my number 3, which might clash, and I guarantee we've all seen it, Only Fools and Horses. And no one's got in the top 5.
Nope.
Interesting.
I was going to mention it, but it almost seems
I
like
thought honourable mention. But
too obvious. Much like people say Steptoe's Son or
from,
Seinfeld.
yeah, so why I put it at 3 is because it's a child. It's basically, because I'm picking the 5 from my ones I've watched the most constantly and what's resonated more. So before it had The Office, which had characters and a good story arc for them. But in comparisons to Only Fools and Horses, the story arc their story, I find more encapsulated with. And like I said, from childhood, like I remember being at secondary school, the watch episode, like the last 3 episodes, when they find the watch and they get the money.
Yes.
That I remember. I even watched 3 episodes. I mean, I was into it before then, but that I remember massively. I've never seen a comedy show do that where I was like so emotionally invested. I think that was the first comedy show I watched that got me emotionally like teared. as a child.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, they made it kind of thing,
Sure.
I'd never had a show do that to me, especially when I was like a teenager. I was like, yeah. But yeah, for me, as far as British comedy goes, it's for me the top one.
It's definitely brilliant. There's, and I love it, and I will watch it. The girlfriend watches it a lot, and it's always on Comedy Gold, and it's brilliant. Now the topic was comedies with a special place in my, like a family, something that
Sure, yeah.
because it reminds me of watching stuff with my mum and my nan, like with the Christmas special.
Sure.
Series and
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
It really, when I think back, I think back of enjoying that with the family.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think
Yeah.
about with
Sure.
Only Fools
Yeah,
and
totally.
Horses.
Yeah,
So,
it's my favourite family comedy show.
But this is-
PG one.
and I love it, but this is like what I personally.
Sure.
That's how it's kind of like why it's not on my list. It really
Sure.
should be, like, for how good Only Fools and Horses.
For technicalities, yeah, but personally, I understand. Yeah,
it was definitely on there, and
Yeah.
it would have been in my top 10 easily.
Yeah.
It's just because when I said to my mum I was doing this, she goes, "Oh, Only Fools and Horses one," and I was like, "Yeah,
yeah,
it should be." And it's always the way, like it's always the top number one in like most TV top 10s, and like Del Boy falling through the bar, the funniest thing of all time. Which is funny, but it's not the funniest thing of all time.
I quote it for me. I quote it quite a bit. I think me and you.
We still.
Like
to
Trigger's got a medal.
Yeah. To surmise your point, though, Chris, I would never watch it like on my own, like streaming.
No, I wouldn't put it. My girlfriend would put it on to watch it,
like in the background.
But I won't
in,
put it on to watch it.
TV.
But I will happily sit there and watch it for hours with her.
I
will always watch it when it's on, but I won't.
Sure. You don't purposely put it on.
But it's not like you would go onto Netflix and watch it. You would it would be on TV, and you would just have it on.
I'll turn the words "turn this shit off" would never come out of my mouth. I'd quite happily watch it all the way when it's on.
Sure,
but it's
like how you have that group of people that constantly will watch Friends when it's on.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like that, but with Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
Except fuck Friends.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, Friends is still funny.
That's what I mean.
You have to give it its credit.
Oh, yeah.
I always watch that. It's one of those things. It's not brilliant, but I don't... There's been a lot of stuff that I've made to watch, which I can't stand.
Yes.
Yeah. Friends is not really one of them, for me.
I used to watch it. I used to obsessively watch it. Even when it came on, every season, I followed it.
I mean, I've probably been Clockwork Orange to it because I did not start out to watch Friends. They definitely didn't come out like, do you know what? I'm going to watch Friends.
Yeah.
But I was like, if I'm going to watch this, I'm going to watch it. I won't touch The Big Bang Theory. I cannot stand that show.
I tried.
Now, if Friends was like that for me, that would be in the exact same category of that. If it's on, I'll leave you be. You can watch it.
Yeah, sure.
With Friends, because when it first came out, it was fine. I enjoyed it then. I think because everyone was watching it, and was all talking about it. So, but rewatching it, it's just terrible now to watch it. To watch it again, it's just awful. Only Fools and Horses still works, I think, for me. I think that's why I rate it pretty high.
Yeah,
I will still laugh when I watch it. Even like the episodes, like the special ones, I think are the best ones.
Okay, so. Granddad or Albert?
Granddad. But I do like Albert.
I'm Granddad.
Yeah, Granddad. Granddad's more of a...
See, the thing with me, with Only Fools and Horses, I got into it really late. So I never really got into it when my parents were watching and whatnot. I didn't watch it till Raquel was in the show, which is, I believe, very, very late towards the end.
Season 6.
Yeah.
So I had to go back and... couldn't understand why Uncle Albert wasn't in the first few seasons and whatnot because being a kid there, and I couldn't get it. So it took me a while to get back into it, but it'd definitely be in my top 10. Definitely, I can see where you guys are coming from.
This is how much I love Only Fools and Horses to the point where I got tickets to go and see the show, and and I went to see it at the West End. And Paul Whitehouse was Granddad. That's how much I do love. Only Fools and Horses,
but it's not in your top 5.
It's not. But it's
you're not selling this, mate.
No, but it's the way of it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It runs in the blood.
That's what I mean. There were so many bits in there that I didn't want to put off. Sure,
Sure,
At the end of the day, you found other stuff which you appreciate a lot more.
It's not something where I've looked at the characters and think that's me. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I've just liked the characters because, like I said, their story is fantastic. I mean, it's the Rag the Riches story. It's a classic story. And like I said, when that happened, that episode, that got me as a kid. I mean, I was a teenager, and I was like, man, that was the first one to do it for me. That's the main reason it's in my top 3. But yeah, if it hadn't been for that bit, it'd be an honorable mention.
Yeah, sure.
But, if we look at something that's going to say, more inclined with my persona or what I like and what I enjoy and what I find funny, then it wouldn't be there. But like I said, it resonated with me that much that I thought, and I will still watch it. So.
Favorite episode?
Tough one.
I'll go first. Blow Up Dolls.
No, I knew he was going to say that.
Always my favourite.
Fuck. I don't know. I think the most underrated one is the Hullenback.
I love that.
That's brilliant. I do love the one with the crazy escaped convict. I don't like to win.
Oh, that's season 4. I
like to win. Yeah. We play 20 a ball.
That's when. It's got one of my favourite quotes. It's when what's his name? Oh God, I've forgotten his name.
But you can't.
Del Boy. Yeah. Oh, and Del Boy comes in with the fishing gear. And then Grandad's like, so what are we doing this weekend? We're going skiing.
The thing I love about that show as well is like the
characters are great as well.
It's the relationship between Del Boy and Rodney.
Yeah. And the way Del Boy likes to do his business.
They have like a shared trauma bond through the loss of
Their mother.
the mother from an early age. Rodney didn't get to meet his mother.
Yeah.
The dad left when they were kids. Rodney had to basically become not Rodney. Del Boy became Rodney's carer.
Yeah, pretty much.
And even though throughout the show it's a comedy, there are episodes that go back to that, like when the aloof father comes back. And that's why I like it.
There's bits I couldn't tell you what the whole episode was about, but there's scenes which are my favourite. The ones with the funeral procession, where Rodney goes he got told the wrong way, and he's backing it up, sort of thing. And the one where Rodney's chasing down the thief. And they're running for ages. And then in the end, he turns around and looks at Rodney.
So Batman and Robin?
No, but then he starts running back and the thief's chasing him.
It's that episode, is it? Okay.
Oh, is it? Is
that episode? Is that the Heroes and Villains,
Oh, it is, yeah. No, it is, yeah. But so that whole Christmas special is...
It's the best Christmas special, easily. Yeah. It's a trilogy, isn't it? It's like it's in 3 parts.
And I love the...
Modern Man, something else, and then the Watch Find.
The one where they go to Spain and... Grandad gets done for, Uncle
Season 3
gets done for jaywalking.
Jaywalking, yeah, that's a good one. And
Thingy on the jet ski.
Phil and Scott, you got a favourite episode?
There's just so many, like I say, one-liners.
Exactly, yeah.
The way Jason plays Del Boy and the way Nicholas Lyndhurst plays Rodney, they just got such good chemistry. Even though they're not stereotypical Londoners, all the other sub-characters as well, like Trigger. Boise.
Boise's one of my favourites. Just
all of the way that everyone chemically mixes and they have their own. Boise's almost like the heel antagonist, isn't he?
I like him though.
He's Del Boy's alter ego almost. So it's just so clever. The poker episode.
Poker's amazing. That's probably one of my favourite ones. But it's my favourite Boise episode for sure.
Yeah, Boise's just quality. They did a side series with him, didn't it? Grass is green.
I never watched it. I heard it was bad, so I'd stayed away.
But yeah, it's just
I stayed away. I thought
locally so good. Like, what's the paint episode with the paint the kitchen?
Oh
the Illuminous one. The train paint. The train paint.
And it's on the grave site, isn't it?
And they paint them up as tombstone.
It's brilliant.
What do you call it? Calamity comedy. Much like if you watched like a foreign TV and it was like, say, Italian or something, and you would see the equivalent, and it would be like, that kind of like, oh, something's gone wrong, the house is on fire. It's much like that, but like the way they ad lib to those situations on top it's just so relatable.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's definitely a good episode. Favorite quote. Favourite line.
Who dares wins with us? I don't know, it's the classic.
Well, what me and Scott always say is always, Trigger's got a medal.
Oh, yeah. I like it. He can bore you now with this bloody story.
So there's not the cards that I dealt you.
Oh, yeah. How'd you hit your head in the mind your head sign? Didn't you see it? Of course I saw it, but in those days I couldn't read.
Right, Dave. My name's Rodney.
Anything with Slater was
Slayer.
Slater's like my favourite sub sort of character when he comes obviously with Hullenbach.
Hullenbach is good. I like
in that, he's
the screw job at the end is perfect.
Because obviously isn't he the guy from Hot Fuzz?
He's in a lot of films now. He's actually quite big. He's what's his name? I forgot the actor's name. But he's in like Gangs of New York and stuff. Yeah.
Nah.
The supermarket episode. The one. Oh, the bottle episode.
The Scarlet Pimpernel. That's what he called himself.
No, the shut at a dough.
Supermarket
guy, and they get locked in.
Yeah, he calls himself the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Is he? That's what he called. I thought he calls himself the shut at a dough. They see him here. They see him there.
The Scarlet Pimpernel, and then that's when he says the shut at a dough.
Oh, maybe it's the same thing. Okay, maybe
day equivalent.
Yeah. But that's a good episode.
Yeah, good show. Go.
Good pick, sir. That's number 3, Chris. Number 3.
Well, I feel like that should be my number 3 now.
You went into it more than he did. Should have been on your list.
Yeah, no, I feel cheated now. But no, it should have been on. No, my number 3 is a show that was recommended to me, and I never really thought I'd give it the time of day. And I took it, and I didn't start watching it until season 4 or 5. and I thought I had nothing to watch, and I thought I'd give it a go. And it's a show from over the pond, and it's called Silicon Valley.
Nice.
So the reason I didn't really I'm not the biggest tech. I like my tech, but I don't go into specs and data programming. And I thought it'd be a bit nerdy for me. But the way they do it enough nerdy stuff that if you liked the certain things, you could get the computer programming jokes. But the overlying story arc, it basically is about a young programmer who makes a data algorithm that compresses data, and he basically wants to be snapped up by Hooli, which is like an evil Google, or would you say Steve Jobs sort of thing? And
definitely,
yeah. And Gavin Belson, you've seen Gavin Belson, for me, he steals the show, like his animal comparisons and the Gavin Belson box. The logo with a penis. It's all the subtle underlying jokes in it. It's pretty, like what I was saying earlier. It's a show that's funny and it has a story that they're kind of trying to get somewhere. They're trying to get an investment, and then they're always screwing each other. But there's two programmers in the team, which is Guilfoyle and Ganesh. And the way that Guilfoyle just screws Dinesh. It's
intelligent screwing.
It's intelligent screwing, and it's a TV comedy that I've not seen since, or the way that they've done it. It's like every time I'll see it. Oh, Silicon Valley's back on, and that's how I knew. I was getting buzzing for the new series.
It's finished now, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it needed to end. I mean,
when TJ Miller left it as well, it's just it lost it a bit.
It sort of lost it, but the way. But Guilfoyle, they stepped it up in the last two series,
definitely.
And they sort of got an ending, and it made it good because it's ended, and I still love it. And it's one that people go, "Oh, what do you recommend?" And I'll always say Silicon Valley. But Gavin Belson, when he's had a bad day because you turn up at his house and it's completely smashed up, and it happens 3 or 4 times over the series, and it has an underlying. There's a lot of callback references and stuff.
But go back to what you're saying about the league, how it has that subject, but it's not really about that subject.
Yeah.
This does it as well, doesn't it?
Nail it. You don't have. That's why I thought I hate it, because I thought it's going to be so techie.
Yeah, same as me. I was put off it for years, and I think Sky had the whole lot, so I just binged it and
smashed it. And it was and then I said,
wasn't it written by Mike Judge as well?
Yeah, but I said to you, have you watched Silicon Valley?
Yeah, no, honestly, it was a good recommendation. I'm glad. I watched it.
And we quote it. A lot, but it's one of those things.
I feel like I need to rewatch it to brush up on the references again.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same special place in my heart as the one Only Fools, but it's one that I'm trying to make my girlfriend watch it at the moment.
Yeah,
just so we could, but it's not on a streaming, so I haven't gone through. But I can't wait to watch it again with her, and But
I'll tell you what,
I will definitely rewatch it.
That show puts me off starting my own business.
Yes,
because it's like they always get it going, but there's always something that just stops it, or they lose out, or they have to sell out.
It's the sub-characters that make, like the Hindu well-being guy who's always there to gather, but he doesn't want to do any work, and there's really cool, and like the $1 billion free common man. There's so many good sub-characters in there that just come in and you go, oh, it's going to be a good episode.
Who's the guy that always has the big Slurpee drink?
Big Head.
Big Head, that's it. I always feel sorry for his guy.
But I love Big
Does
Head.
Nothing, but he gets promoted and he gets so much.
He's so successful. But
yes,
he just no-sells everything.
But one of my favourite characters is, was it Laurie's boss? The woman.
Oh,
yes, yeah.
This meeting's done.
Yeah, she's like very, very
cutthroat.
Cut to the point sort of thing, isn't it?
It's like
high level. Dare I say?
She shouldn't be in this comedy because she's like, there's nothing.
Yeah,
really...
you can't tell if she's joking or not because it's very like straightforward. But it's like, are you like, what are you getting at?
Dare I say it? She's like, it's borderline. Like it comes across to me as like borderline, like spectrum, like maybe autism or like high functioning.
Yeah.
Not to say it's a negative. I'm not. It's just like when you get a character like that, especially in that realm of tech, there are people who are high functioning.
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm sort of saying.
The thing with this show, I got invested with this group, like this little team, and I was like, right, go on, lads.
Yes. You wanted to get them. You wanted them to get there, didn't you?
Don't sell the Hooli. I know you're not going to sell. Don't sell the Hooli. Like,
was it Pied Piper? Wasn't it?
Pied Piper.
Yeah.
And it's like pie. You know, like
the
just
song.
the quotes and like, you know,
The little outfit that
the
they have
outfits.
to wear in the launch.
But I got really invested with this team, and it was like I wanted it to succeed, you know, and it was, it carried it, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I know I'm going to watch it quite often.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely watch it again, but binge the whole lot. I mean, I would highly recommend it. If you're into anything a bit tech, it's brilliant. Even if you're not.
Again, written by Mike Judge, Beavis about Head Office Space, Idiocracy. So, yeah, it's well written.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it. So, I mean,
Yeah,
so it's on streaming sites?
No,
Yeah,
it
It was on Sky, but I'm
it's
not sure if it's on
not.
there anymore now.
No, I mean,
We can get hold of it, don't worry.
Okay.
definitely worth a recommendation.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I've
you'll
got-
love Gavin Belson. Yeah,
He's
right
so
up the
Hill.
street. He's
Honestly,
so,
Tim.
so
So Dennis.
I was going to say he's
Perfect.
definitely Dennis's. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sold.
he's up there.
I'm
He's
sold.
not as good as
No
but-
chance.
But,
no.
no, but
he is up
they
there.
went for a softer tone, you know, to I think what.
Sure,
Yeah, if Dennis was Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, he's still ruthless. He's ruthless as a tech.
Good, that's
like
fine.
you don't cross him.
He's
yeah.
almost like Vince McMahon as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
proper Vince, you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And like one of the best quotes is like, "How bad is it? It's not bad, is it? It's like it's not. It's not Vista bad. It's like it's worse. It's not Apple Maps bad. Oh fuck.
Oh, we're gonna
It's
get
Apple Maps,
Or they'll
man.
be like, "Oh, we're gonna get Enron." You know, things like that.
Nice. Okay, so I got The League and Silicon Valley to check
Yeah,
out.
I think yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch the league. Yes, I'll give that a go.
Yeah. It's too
Scott,
randomized.
your three.
My 3 was already
All right.
done. Alan
So
Partridge.
go to Phil then. Phil, your number 3, sir.
That was quicker than I expected. Hold on, let me just off the top of my
I got
head.
one left.
I haven't written a lot. I've just in at 3. Okay, this is a bit of a wild card. I don't know if anyone's going to agree with me or they've even seen it, but it's a show called La La Land, and it was on BBC.
You've mentioned this to me
Brilliant.
before.
Yeah,
and it's this guy called Mark Wooten,
Yeah.
who much plays multiple characters like Sacha Baron Cohen or Chris Lilly from Summer Heights High.
Is this Shirley Ghostman?
Shirley
Yeah,
Ghostman.
I was just going to.
What was the one, Best Friends? What was the other one? Is it?
Yeah, no, I was just
That's my favourite.
La La Land is about 3 characters,
So brutal.
and he plays a psychic medium, a new film cinematography person,
Yeah.
and what's the third character in La La Land?
The
Cockney
actor is
ginger
great.
haired actor,
Yeah, he's the
basically.
best
So
one.
much like Summer Heights High or Ali G, Borat, etc.
Yeah.
It's a multi-character piece played by the same
There's
person.
only one season, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's only one season of it. It's 6 episodes.
That's
It just, like I say, mockumentary, fly on the wall.
Yeah.
It follows the 3 characters around and how socially awkward they are, and you know, these unsuspecting people, much like they're getting worked, much like Ali G.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's all filmed, it's all edited. It's for me, Shirley Ghostman, the psychic medium
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
plays in it, is the best character, and he also has a show called
Shirley Ghostman's
Haunted.
I can't remember what it's called.
It's in a church, and he's in front of an audience, and he's
They
like a
do it
reality
in like a
TV.
live setting.
yeah, it's like, and he's so insulting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know how you get these charlatan type.
I feel your pain. I feel your shame.
Yeah,
It's one of
like
those
nothing
shows
to
that
blame.
if you can't handle the awkwardness
Yeah,
or like
it is proper awkward.
It's dark.
it's like
and
you're not
cringy.
gonna like that sort of show
Okay,
because
right.
you really because he puts it into he takes it
so
far
annoying.
and deep,
I
and I mean
cringe.
if that's not your sort of
Yeah.
thing, you're really
What's
gonna
What's
you're
the
like
hamster one?
oh
I know when he's an animal.
right, okay.
The animal one is the best one.
If you've seen My New Best Friend,
That is my favourite.
No.
it's a
My
show on
New
Channel
Best
4
Friend.
years ago about like
Yeah.
a challenge that's set to a member of the public where they've got to convince their friends and family that this guy is his friend.
Okay.
It's Mark Wooten playing this really awkward, annoying friend, and this guy has to go along with everything he says within that course of a week
And
to
then they
win
win
10
money.
grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's going, oh, we're going away with this, and they're making him dress sillily and doing
Yeah.
silly songs and stuff. And all of his friends are like, mate, you've got to get rid of
Yeah.
this guy.
And
so
each-
he can push buttons of the public so well.
Yeah.
Like he can trigger people
Yeah.
so well. It's just,
And-
watch My New Best
My
Friend.
New Friend.
Okay.
Each
And
character's
psychedelic.
different. Each character's different.
Yeah.
There's one. I think the best one.
Tommy Wiseau's in it.
Tommy
in
Wiseau's
La La.
in La La Land, yeah.
Oh, that's why you mentioned it before. Yeah.
Honestly, this show will become your new favourite. If you've seen Summer Heights High,
Yes.
yeah,
if
you'll
you like
love,
that
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
it's really
So how-
really good.
Is it somewhere I can watch it or?
Might be on
I'm
BBC
not sure.
iPlayer.
Yes.
It might be on BBC.
It might
iPlayer.
all be cut up and put on YouTube, depending.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can get hold of it somewhere. Or
It's
our
not
time.
as easy as it to find.
I've got it on DVD. I'll have to lend you that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, do that then. Yeah.
But I strongly recommend this comedy. It's just like I say, it's Scott and I, as brothers, we watched it religiously and we quote it constantly. And like I say, I can't say certain things on this show because the humour is so dark. And you have to go there in your mind to be able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not for everybody.
Definitely,
It's in that league of like when was it Garth Marenghi's Dark Place?
Yeah.
It was
I was going to say it sounds sort of like
very
that.
much in that
Mighty Boosh.
In a way, I can't stand like Borat. I've never been a fan of his sort of, but I do like Ali G. So it's kind of it's a comedy of which you kind of, how far do you want to take it?
Yeah, it's like candid sketch.
Yeah.
It's a candid
they don't
sketch,
know that they're in a
sketch show. Yeah.
But it's like when he goes to America, isn't it? And he's talking to the Americans. What's the ginger guy who's trying to get an acting job?
To put it in perspective,
Oh my God.
there's a series where he drugs this woman. He
Oh
puts
my
a drug
God.
in a drink. And
Is
then
they
so
going for a-
people see it, and then the people in the crowd are like, don't drink that. And he's like, no, drink it. Drink it. Drink
gone
it.
for a casting
and then they're
job.
like, they've gone for a casting, and then he wants to drug one of the women.
Jesus.
But,
And he's
you know,
burying people. He's going, oh, that Anthony, he's got like, he's evil. Because he's a psychic
so,
medium.
Right,
if
okay.
you can't handle the...
Okay.
It's
awkward.
but it's brilliant.
It's good. It's good awkward humour for sure.
Huh?
I've got more talent in my little finger.
Oh, honestly, the way he devalues people, like
He puts them down.
oh my God, it's just, it's brilliant from beginning to end. I think the weakest character in it is the cinematography film producer guy.
Okay.
There's this scene in it where he's trying to do like a, what do you call it, a long cut. And he wants this guy to go on the computer, type it out, and he's obviously narrating as he's going. The guy's got to go exit the front door, go to his car, but because the guy's name's so hard to pronounce, obviously him doing the narration, he's constantly getting it wrong, and he's like saying to the guy, no, you got to start again and do the whole shot, and the whole shot is like 5 minutes long. So he makes him redo it like 100 times.
Jesus.
And this guy's going, right, let's go back to the computer, and he's like, Quentin was at his computer, studly typing out his, script. Honestly, it's just the repetitive annoyance that he has because he knows how to bury into people's subconscious and trigger them to a point where, because politically and democratically, you can't act like that. If someone's winding you up, you got to be cordial towards them. But what's the ginger guy who's the actor and he's with Tommy Wiseau?
He's the best one, but I cannot remember his name.
And he's got scratch cards on the set because he obviously wants to win money. And Tommy's like, put them away. Like, and he's like, yeah, but if you've got to speculate to accumulate. So you can imagine this Cockney working with this. What is he, Hungarian or Polish?
Polish.
Yeah, it's just oh my God, like he just pushes everybody's buttons.
Tommy Wiseau gets pissed off, man. He
Really?
He gets upset.
It's not professional.
It's good.
I'm an American, damn it. Respect me.
American my ass.
I'll dig out the DVD.
Yeah, please,
I
man.
really want you to see this show.
As I say, you mentioned it before.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to give it a go.
Do you also have My New Best Friend and Shirley Ghostman?
I've got.
He mentioned it just now.
You can watch Shirley Ghostman Haunted Thing on YouTube.
Okay.
You can watch My New Best Friend on all four.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
You can watch I've got Psychedelic as well, which is another show he did about like social political activists. They're going to like raves and marches, and they're like, fuck the government and all that kind of stuff. So he plays like a kind of like what's the word?
Anarchist.
Yeah, like an anarchist, and it's stupid comedy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, again, Ali G, Borat. He's working members of the public to get a certain reaction out of them.
Yeah.
It's just, I will get a
Yeah, please, man.
list for
Definitely.
you.
Just a quick one. My New Best Friend. What was your favourite character?
What's the one where he makes him sing the song round the table?
Yes, round the table. That's the best episode. Honestly, that got me.
The 10 Men marching song, they
when
go
they're up, and when they're down, it's amazing.
And-
I won't say any more, but that episode.
And it goes on for about
watched
an
that
hour and a
constantly.
half, him trying to make him complete singing this song, because there's certain rules to the song. Where
He
you have to
changes
miss-
the rules each time.
Yeah.
Like,
And he's
how
getting-
you
he's
sing
like-
it, what you can't say, what you can say, and
Yeah.
everything around the table. It's so stupid. But he has like these like lines where he's like trying to make dinner, and just like the chicken's being boiled, just grabs the chicken and then stabs it, and he goes, "Oh, I can do this." Oh, spits it, and he goes, "Right, I'm going to go to the toilet and rain for my vein."
Yeah.
and then just like in front of everyone, it's basically the most annoying person. It's like Uncut Gems,
Yeah.
Adam Sandler,
Yeah.
but in the most frustrating person.
He'll keep you up. He'll keep you awake at night and all this kind of stuff to win that 10 grand. So
basically, it's full on anxiety.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Each character, but the more
Very
anxiety
Andy
you get,
Kaufman.
the more you like.
Yeah.
The progression of what his comedy was. Like, it's a progression of how far, Andy Kaufman used to take it. The
Sure.
comedy was for him. And if you found it funny, then fair
Then
play.
yeah.
But, they don't realise,
They're doing it for money because
It's like Jeremy Beadle's About. You know how he used to do pranks
Sure.
on members of the public?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
kind of like a
It's
version
like
of that for the
Yeah.
modern era.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, like I say, I will.
Underrated.
I'll get the bundles.
Yeah,
for you. I'll
please,
dig them
man.
out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, underrated shows. Good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, nice one.
So that was your 3, yeah?
that was in at 3.
Yeah, so my 3 was done with The Office, so we're going to go to number 2.
Number 2.
Tim.
Right, this is my last one because we had my number 1. So my number 2, and it is closest one I'd say to relatability now because I'm getting older. But it's got to be my man, Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, my number 2 as well.
Number 2 as well. Perfect. Yeah, I love Larry David. I cannot agree with most of everything he says and does. It's what you always think in your head. You just don't do it. You just don't say it. He's like the social assassin. He just doesn't care. He'll say what needs to be said at the time that we feel is needed. Right for him and for us, fairness. He wants fairness and righteousness. The way I look at his character, people will think of him as a loser. I think of him as a winner who never wins. But he's always a winner for me because I agree with so much. You will always have someone who's like, you know what, he's right. Most of the time he's right, even when he's wrong.
I was always a big fan of Seinfeld. I love Seinfeld, and with Curb Your Enthusiasm, his way of looking at life is not my way. I look at myself as one of his mates, around him, and I'm like, why are you being like? I would happily have him as my mate, because you need people definitely. You can't all be the same person, otherwise there's nothing.
Yeah.
So, but I would be one of his mates, and I'd love to wind him up. But the way I don't like is I'd rather be on my own, or I'd rather just be. I don't get that logic, but I love the way how far he goes out of his way to either make a point, or the way he screws himself by he didn't mean for that to happen.
Diplomatically, he's caught in the
he's wrong in the spectrum of the situation.
He's right, but he's
wrong.
Wrong at the same time.
I mean, the whole show, if he just went, "Oh no, this happened," then he gets out of everything, but he doesn't. He tries to weave his way out of it. And
he never accepts the situation he's in. That's the problem. It's like, and the thing with life is you have to accept what's given to you sometimes. Things are just not handed to you on a fucking silver platter, but he will just...
But then he wrote Seinfeld for, George Costanza.
Yeah.
George was always complaining, but this wouldn't happen. He went, this happened to me. This is me. George Costanza is in a real life. And George always, or whatever who the guy played it, he goes, but this wouldn't happen. He goes, happened to me. This is why it's in it. Pretty much you have written for me. George's outlook was him before he went to Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's like truth comedy almost.
Yeah.
It's like the situation he's been in where pretty much we can say we've been in that kind of situation.
It was brilliant in the way it was shot, because I was like, is he married to her? Is he actually
legitimately?
Is he actually married to her, or am I watching one of those reality shows?
Okay. Oh, the wife.
The
on
wife.
show.
When I first started watching it, because it's like
it's done quite well.
It's a mockumentary. Like it's following him around.
It's very cheaply done for HBO show.
They all do now. Which every single one of it is like. Yeah. Is he actually because they do have a good. They are married, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they play it off really well.
Yeah.
So
not married in real life,
and the same with the friends. It's like, is he just got all of his mates around? Because those cliques in comedy, you just get the same people coming in, don't you? Adam Sandler's mates. Yeah. They're all cliquey, so I just assumed. And it wasn't until later on that you realise, no, it is actually scripted, it is showed, it is...
Yeah, it definitely... I think the first few seasons were a lot more, harder with humour. You got the Hitler jokes and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of boundaries get broken in the first few seasons. They kind of calmed down in the later seasons, but I think it got smarter. Yeah, as it prolonged almost.
But the awkwardness of when he just wants to sit in the back of the car.
And his
mate is like, not a fucking chauffeur.
This
You know,
is
sit in the front.
Yeah.
I just want to sit. You know, it's just the awkwardness of like how far he.
Yeah.
Because anyone normal would go, "Oh, fair enough, mate. Yeah,
Yeah, just get in the front seat. Yeah. He's like, no. I think it's his friend always calls him the social assassin, and it's like a perfect description of what he is. He is exactly that. He's basically a social. What's the word? There's
Awkwardly social.
There's a one
Misfit.
word. Yeah, something like that. There's one word for it. I can't think what it is. But anyway, yeah. I think I love the also the celebrities, like the cameos throughout episodes, and how they play themselves and even mock themselves, which I like as well. Like Michael J. Fox one, that one,
Yeah.
so controversial, but it is Michael J. Fox playing himself, who has Parkinson's, and there's so many like bits about his condition. And it's like it's not as if it's taking the mick, because he obviously agreed to do it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you go through that kind of like they kind of have that reality in there.
Yeah, they use the character
that's
of the
what
person.
they do, don't they?
Yeah.
He doesn't like a person for that. But they go, you can't do that. It's got nothing to do with that, is it?
Yeah,
You know, and that's the situation he puts himself in. He goes, but you can't do it. It's got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
You know, he's a dick.
Yeah.
He's got bugs. You can't say it. You know, like, I don't care.
It's like being in that restaurant, and Larry's girlfriend's playing the piano, and then Michael J. Fox is there, and then like he's telling Michael J. Fox to stop talking because his girlfriend's playing piano. Watch her play the piano, but she's just there as background noise. It's just people enjoying a dinner. She's not playing a performance, not a concert.
Yeah.
And then Michael J. Fox leaves, does that little like turn his head towards Larry David, and that shakes, and then Larry David's just like, was that a Parkinson's shake, or was he upset with me? I have to find out. And it's like, it's so bad.
What's the episode where what's the game? The card game they're playing.
Oh, yeah. Favourites, yeah.
He calls
How'd
that-
you go to ace high? Oh,
Yeah.
you cunt!
Yeah.
What a cunt! I can't believe it.
and he commits like social suicide almost. Like
That's it,
with
yeah.
the way, and the guy takes instant offence, and the whole table's like, "Oh, I think you better leave." Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just we've all been in that situation where you know
see
what you
it,
meant in
yeah.
your mind, but when it comes out your mouth,
It's like, oh shit, yeah.
you're like, oh my god, I've just triggered someone. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel so bad. Like,
Yeah.
But we instantly say sorry.
it's a banter line.
Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, if you say you slip up
He
or
won't.
you mess up,
No, he won't.
You go,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
what I meant to say, try and back.
That came
Yeah.
out wrong.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you just go with it. I've said it now.
Yeah,
Or
Larry
I'm
would never
full
do that.
committed.
Yeah, no, that's it. He will never admit defeat. He's never wrong, which I like. It's what makes him so funny and so watchable. I love it. And they've announced a new season,
Excellent.
and they're only going to do one episode that's based on the pandemic. Only one episode, not a whole season, which I thought was probably the best thing, because you don't want to drag one continuous joke.
No,
for
but
the whole
then
season.
I was thinking, Larry David's loved this.
He's gonna.
You know, the pandemic's been
He's
his
gonna love it.
absolute.
He's an
Yeah.
introvert,
Yeah.
That's
isn't
that's,
he?
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, his way of looking at it, he loved that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
been socially distant.
It's gonna be
He
perfect.
didn't want to be touched.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
Well, he's
doesn't
a
want
social
handshake.
pessimist,
He just,
isn't
you
he?
know,
Yeah, yeah, he
so
hates
he would have
people.
loved the whole pandemic in real life.
Exactly.
You know, he probably.
So they're going to do one episode now, which I'm looking forward to. Because there was even that episode, like the last season, where he wears a Trump hat just so people would stay away from him. I thought it was a genius, but he's not even a Trump's boy, so I just want people to stay away from me. I'll just wear a Trump hat. It's perfect. Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's
Like,
pretty much the same reason as me. I mean,
Yeah.
I mentioned it it was in my top 5 series of all time.
It's
Curb.
great, yeah.
There's another one you recommended. It's one I can relate to. There's always an episode where I can relate to that. You know, for
Yeah,
example,
definitely.
the situation. I feel sorry for some of the situations he's in, but sometimes he puts himself in those situations.
Yeah, true.
Some of the anxiety runs through my veins when, like, simple
Yeah.
things like when his dad sends him the smoking jacket, but it's for Andy instead,
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not for Andy because it's not his birthday. So really, just give him the smoking jacket back already.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's Larry David. He's like a guy I thought I would never look up to, and I really do. He's
like Woody Allen in a way, you know, that kind of. I wasn't into Woody Allen films.
That's-
I've seen
yeah.
a few, and I can see the the want for it. It's not really, but Larry David is more much like that guy
Yeah.
for me now. He's like,
Yeah, because for me, he ranges up there by my favourite comedy people are Bill Burr, Bill Murray, Larry David, those kind
Bill
of people.
David.
Bill David.
I love his friends though. Like
Yes,
Chris
his
was saying,
friends
his
are great.
friends. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gutted Funkhauser died in real
Funkhauser,
life. He's one of my favourites.
Yeah, he
I
was
love
brilliant.
Funkhauser.
He was brilliant, but that's what made the show. Like without his friends there,
True.
it'd be a very down.
Even Richard Lewis pisses me off sometimes.
love
Like
Richard
when he
Lewis,
gets to the shop earlier so he can get up to the seat.
It's
the little one-upmanships that they always try and play on.
The banter between him and Richard Lewis are brilliant. They've been playing this game since childhood.
Even Jeff is brilliant.
Jeff's great, yeah. Even his wife.
I like the fact that Jeff's wife is the only one that calls Larry out on everything.
All his bullshit. He hates it.
Yeah. It's like Larry might be in a room,
Yeah.
and Larry's got everyone else hoodwinked into how he's like put together how something's happened, and she'll just completely be like, "I know what's happened. You actually did this, and you told Jeff to say this, and I know you because you did it." Do you know what I mean? And then he's like, "What? But she's right, and she digs him out.
But Jeff always puts him in that situation, though, doesn't he?
True.
It's always Jeff doing that.
Jeff
to him.
is loyal though. Everyone else, but everyone else will like
He's kind
scrap
of loyal.
Larry to the side.
He will sacrifice.
Oh no, that's true because didn't they pick Cheryl, and he picked Larry. at one
He
point.
picked Larry, yeah.
But he does get screwed a lot. Jeff does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's usually
totally.
because of Larry. Yeah.
Especially the hair.
Yeah, there's that one episode I remember where Jeff, I can't remember what it was about, but it's where Jeff snaps properly. He goes, "I'm fucked, and you fucked me hard."
Isn't that the car episode?
I think that's the one.
Yeah, he gets the car. Yeah, because he gets the 50s car, and he's like,
That's it,
the
yeah.
wife is putting me through all this shit,
Yeah.
but at least I got the car. And then Larry obviously crashes the car or something, and even Jeff loses patience with Larry in that episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like the other one as well, you know, when they're both bald.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah.
And, because before, what's it? Jeff's like, there's no discrimination against bald people. And Larry's like, there is, trust me.
Yeah.
And then, he has to go bald. And then instantly he starts noticing the discrimination that Larry gets as a bald guy.
Was it when Jeff meets Ben Stiller, and then Ben Stiller just keeps looking at his phone? I can't remember if it's Ben Stiller. It might have been a different actor.
That's the same episode that Anthony mentioned where he won't get in the front seat. It's Ben Stiller.
I don't know. It's Chris mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one where Jeff's interviewing some actor, and he's got the bald head, and then the actor just keeps looking at his bald head.
Yeah, it's Ben Stiller.
It is Ben
Yeah,
Stiller.
it is. You're right.
He comes back at twice. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do love how every season has a theme to it.
Yeah.
Like season 3's the restaurant opening. Season 4's the producers.
5's the
He finds out he's adopted.
Yeah.
Season 6 you got the blacks as well as the divorce.
Yeah.
Is I love how
Best-
like season 7's the
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld coming back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't he actually? He was actually in the producers, though, wasn't he? So was he?
I don't know. I don't know if he was actually in it.
Broadway, I'm pretty sure. Did he?
I don't know if that was for the show. It might possibly.
I didn't know if,
but
because that's why I don't know if they do.
It might be just for the show, to be honest.
Right. Fair enough.
But it worked. It looked
No,
great.
because it actually looks like he's
It's great. It's very well
actually
done.
on Broadway. And
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
actually
totally.
got it on the set, didn't they?
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
All Mel Brooks thing, isn't
Oh,
it?
Mel Brooks is great. Yeah, even he's good in it. Like,
Even the last season was awesome. That's it.
Oh,
Has
the-
anyone-
the-
I don't think there's a bad season.
no.
There isn't.
the
Spike
Spike store.
Spike store. It's amazing.
And he's
Yeah,
got
Mark
to
and Joe.
find. He's got to find the right coffee.
Yeah. What was season 9, actually? That's probably the one I don't remember the most.
Season 9 is when he the Fartois Broadway show.
No, it was only on.
Fartois.
It was only on the show, so it wasn't actually. Didn't actually.
Oh, he didn't actually. Yeah, Larry creates a Fartois Broadway show, and then they find out about it, the Israelis or something, and he's on their watch list or something, isn't he? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And he has that really irritating lead actor,
actor.
and he shoots him with a paintball.
Right. I need to see that season again. I think that's one I haven't watched recently. I've only watched that with one season. Like I've rewatched seasons constantly, but 9 is probably the one that
Yeah.
I've least watched. So I
The
need to get back
scene,
on that.
the scene in that season I like the most is when they're at the all-you-can-eat buffet. And
Oh, yeah.
the guy already queued.
Yeah, that's that season.
Yeah,
Season 9,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm
He
getting
lets him
at.
in because
He
he's
lets
part of the
him in.
Fartois.
Yeah. And then everyone else is like, no, he should re-queue. And he's like, yeah, but he's already queued once.
Yeah.
So, he shouldn't have to re-queue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I think what was the most awkward moment of Larry David? For me, it's definitely the when he puts the water bottle under his pants. And he's in the girls' toilet.
yeah, no, I was just thinking that.
That is like the one where it's like it's proper cringe.
And he has to literally, at the end of it, he has to escape out the window.
Yeah.
Because, everyone...
Well, he's
you hear the outrage.
so because he goes in the girls' toilet because he doesn't want to, because no one's in the girls' toilet, but he's not allowed to bring the water bottle into the theatre. So then he decides to put the water bottle down his pants. near his crotch. And then a little girl comes in to thank him for a favour he did early in the episode.
And she feels,
And she hugs him, and then obviously feels the bottle. And then runs outside saying, "Mommy, Daddy, he said he's got something hard in his pants."
And everyone's like, oh. And then the look in his face, face.
I think that's probably that's the episode where you just think, no, that was too far almost. But
What was the bit in the season, you know, when he just stood in the airport runway with the coffee beans?
Oh, that's
just
great.
like looking into the distance.
Yeah.
Like everyone else has left him.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care, I'm getting this coffee.
yeah,
season 10.
yeah,
Yeah, Curb Enthusiasm.
great.
We've mentioned it before. Fucking watch it.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Chris, number 2, sir. Oh, your number 2 was taken, wasn't it? What's your number 2, sir?
Right, my number 2 is British comedy Peep Show.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, that's where. Sorry, going back to what we were saying about Olivia. What's her name? One of the Oscar.
Olivia Colman.
She's in
Yeah,
that.
that's right,
Sorry,
yeah.
I got that confused with that. So that's what I was getting at.
So yeah, Peep Show is Channel 4 comedy. It started in 2003, went to 2015. Starring David Mitchell, Robert Webb, just about 2 guys, sort of like an odd couple. They live in like a flat in Croydon. One's like a straight-laced, bureaucratic, does his job. The other one is like a kind of like a dosser. Kind of like doesn't ever work, sort of just lazy-minded.
Didn't he try and make his own music or something?
Yeah. He says he's like a musician, but he never actually. Oh, he has many names. They're like Mama's Kumquat and curse these metal hands, 13 bastards, and he's got a mate. He's got a mate called Superhands. Yeah, so the characters, that's Jez, was like the slacker. You got Mark, who's like the straight laced kind of guy, and then you got like Jez's mate Superhands, who's in the band finger quotation marks with him. Yeah. And then it's just about these 2 no hopes, and it's a tragic comedy. Yeah, it's very dry.
I love the POV camera
and
angles.
it's done from a POV standpoint.
Yeah.
So they'll be talking to each other, and then you'll hear what one of them's thinking, like truly thinking about the situation, and like therein lies like the comedy.
Here he comes, the little shit.
And there it is.
Look at him, just all there, smug on the couch.
Toilet toast.
Yes.
Toilet toast, yeah.
There's quite a few seasons of it as well, isn't there?
I believe it's. I might be wrong. I should have double checked, but I think it's 10 seasons.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I was thinking 9 or 10 seasons, wasn't it?
You got 2 characters who are totally different.
Yeah, they're an odd
It's
couple.
not like bottom where they're like you got 2 characters very similar, and they're getting both into. One's pissing off the other for either being every goody and then the other just being a slob and wants to be. And it's carefree and like.
And at first, when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, it's all right," but then the more you watch it, the more you learn about this relationship between the 2 friends.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was actually...
Who's the boss?
Oh, Johnson.
Alan Johnson's brilliant.
He's quality. Yeah, there's a lot of good characters in the show as well. Yeah. If anyone hasn't seen it, definitely worth binge watching.
Yeah, it's good.
Quality. Yeah. So good.
Just weird you picking that because I actually started watching it the other day.
Did you?
So that's why I knew about it. Yeah. So I knew about our actress being in it. So
you're in for a treat.
Yeah. No, I know of it because they had their own. Didn't they have their own sketch show as well at one point? The 2
Mitchell and Webb.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's good as well.
And I always got that confused. I couldn't tell what was the Peep Show side of it. And obviously,
I'm quoting Peep Show all the time.
Peep Show and Mitchell and Webb, those 2 work well together. You know, they're a very good comedy duo.
Yeah,
they're our sense of humour. That's the.
As a petty and vindictive individual, I have to take extra special care not to come across as petty and vindictive.
Yes.
My turn, McGunny.
I am the lord of the bus, said he.
Feel my metal still.
Nice. Good choice.
Like any favourite episodes, Chris? Or
I do like. I mean, obviously, Toilet Toast became a really good. The one where it was one of the newer ones, but
he was living in Superhands' bathroom.
Yeah, living in his bathroom. And
I've got a system, Mark.
And he couldn't hang around with him, and his girlfriend didn't like it, and he totally throws him under the bus.
But then behind his missus' back, he's like, "Call me," and then does like a smoking gesture.
Was Was it the one with the party?
Oh, the New Year's Eve one.
I like
Pinpoint
that.
4.
No, yeah, they're just all. Anything with Johnson with him was brilliant. You know, he's
Be the
screwed.
Johnson.
Yeah,
anytime I've gone for a job interview, I always say Be the Johnson. Are you ready for Project Zeus?
I loved Peep Show was good choice.
Good, that's a good one.
Nice. That was your number 2, yeah?
That's my number 2.
Phil, your number 2, sir.
Okay, in at 2 for me personally is Keenan and Kel.
Nice.
From Nickelodeon.
Oh, no way!
I'm kind of like Malcolm in the Middle. I'm quite obsessive, and I know it's a kids show. It's
Yeah,
like
still.
early adolescence, but there's a lot of scenarios that still play through my head of just those two characters of Keenan Rockmore and Kel Kimball, played by Keenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell. So they're like a buddy comedy, again, like opposites. Kel's obviously like the kind of anarchist, and Keenan's the brain, much like a Pinky and the Brain or a Ren and Stimpy. They work Keenan works in a convenience store, like a grocery shop. Kel's his best mate and he's obsessed with orange soda. And it's just, like I say, it's just the writing for me. Much like a little bit Fools and Horses.
Okay.
I don't know, it's just like, for me, I just like the way it presents itself and like the silliness, because I'm a big fan of Nickelodeon.
Yes.
So
old school Nickelodeon.
I couldn't not put it in my list, because I was like, the amount of times I've watched it, like how many times have I watched Keenan and Kel? It's ridiculous.
This one's a weird one, because like I loved Keenan and Kel, but it was one of those programs. My mum pretty much let me watch anything, but every time she walked in, she could not fucking stand Keenan and Kel. She's like, these guys are so fucking stupid and so dumb. And I'm like, but they're amazing, Mum. She's like, and she tried to ban me watching Keenan and Kel just because they were that stupid, you know, which then became...
Wow.
It is a kids show.
Yeah, but there was no reason
It's
apart
very
from that,
loud.
they were just so stupid. You know, she was like, you can't be grown up to be that stupid. And I was like, but Mum, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's kind of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's very loud and abrasive.
Yeah.
Just a child's version of that.
Yeah, it's just, they're both idiots, savants almost. And
Kel is going to screw.
Kel's the X Factor, which screw. Because Keenan, the premise of the show, Keenan's got a plan that he wants to get rich. So he incorporates,
get a girl.
Yeah. He incorporates Kel in that storyline, and I'm sure I can paraphrase.
I do wish they kind of like at the end they always go, right, grab me a pineapple, some rope,
and meet me down by
meet me down here. And I always wish they just did one episode where they kind of did one of the end jokes,
and then give him a different name. It's like, come on, Scrappy,
come on, Shaggy.
Shaggy.
It's like when Good Burger come out. I think that was promoted quite heavily.
Did they do that before or after the show?
Right in the mids. And they had Less Than Jake were on the soundtrack.
Yeah, well, Coolio did the...
He did the opening, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it was brilliant. I loved it as a kids' programme. It was...
well made. Like,
it was well made.
They had a quality, entrance and credit, and it was filmed at Universal Studios in their, lot.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just like I say, that's just like a holy place for me. I like Nick and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I grew up on Nickelodeon compared to like Cartoon Network or...
It was a very colourful show.
Yeah, it was very colourful.
Just vibrant colours. That's
it's
what
got
I
the guy from what's Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, one of them, Land of the Dead. What's the guy who's in the original
the
film?
dad.
The dad's
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And Chris, the guy who's their boss at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Ripley's, that's the grocery store. Rigby's. Yeah, that's it, sorry. And like obviously he's got this weird thing going on with his mother. It's a bit dark, some of the stuff.
There's an episode, like he has this like weird relationship with his like mother at home that you never see. It's a bit like Skinner and his mum.
Okay,
but you never actually see the mum.
Yeah,
and like there's an episode where Keenan and Kel go around to his house. She doesn't actually exist. You learn that he makes her up. There's a photo of just him.
Oh, it's like a Norman Bates thing.
There's a photo of him. And just him, but he thinks it's a photo of him and his mother.
That's right.
And it's like, when I saw that when I was older, I was like, that's quite dark.
Yeah.
For like a kid's show, that's like a
most kids will fly by that though.
Yeah, it did with me. Like, it did with me.
So what was your favourite episodes as a kid?
I don't know. I just like the format because obviously Keenan Thompson, who's now gone on to SNL and all that kind of stuff, so he's getting like a plant in Hollywood, whereas Kel is still working with Nickelodeon and the new generations. It's a favourite episode for me. I think it's like the bag packing one where Kel's or it's always to do with Kel being super genius or the tuna
Genius episode.
The tuna episode is brilliant.
The
bird.
I love the one. I love the one where Keegan and Kel finally get dates, and Kel chucks like the bouncy ball, the slinky through the bars, and then he gets his head stuck, and then he can walk round. You know, Kel's
Mum's birthday cake.
Oh,
That's a good episode as well.
Oh, they all, like I say, it had its show. It capped itself. It didn't run it into the ground.
It was one of those shows that never. One day it just wasn't on. Yeah. You know, it didn't wrap up like all nicely, or someone moved away, or they got.
Well, they went into doing Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, it just got cancelled. You know,
heavyweights and all that kind of stuff.
Didn't they do a movie? It was like a haunted house one. Ken and Kel went to. They did a one-off movie.
Oh yeah, they did like it was out
an hour special or something.
A journey movie, wasn't it?
They went to a haunted house.
Yeah,
it was like a Halloween. It was almost like an hour episode. It wasn't good.
Yeah, I think it was written by someone else. Maybe
you could tell. Yeah.
They never actually explained Kel's family, like well. Like Kel's family never existed. He was always at Keenan's house or Keenan's work.
Yeah,
that's probably why they always allowed him to stay. You know, they probably knew he didn't have much.
And even
so they just allowed him to stay. Otherwise, I know for a fact that growing up, I've lost friends throughout the year. You know, on the streets because my mum's gone, "You're not playing with that kid," or you know, he'd come around, he'd be rude. You know, they're just not allowed in the house back in the day. I think the amount of damage Kel does.
How they allow
he would be banned from any normal house.
Totally.
You know what I mean? You know, it's.
And they joke though that like they make like a fourth wall reference to it, where like they joke that like his like father's a rocket scientist and his mother's like some intellect at like his parents are actually like away like really important people or something. I can't remember exactly, but like it's like a weird like contrast to what Kel is.
Yeah.
And then there was that. Thing about years ago. There was a rumor, wasn't there, that Kel died or something.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Keenan and Kel. That's
weird. I would never have thought to put that on there.
No.
But it's.
I didn't see that coming at all. I was just like, but it's obviously
the repetition of how many times I've watched it. Do you know what I mean?
and it's going back to that question, say about your childhood stuff you watched. So
like the moment your childhood, it nails you and it's got you hooked forever. So
that's why I like the heavyweights with him and Ben.
I love it.
Just so good. Like that's one of my favourite kids.
Wasn't he in Mighty Ducks too as well?
Yeah, Knuckle Puck time.
Knuckle Puck. That's it. Yeah.
But
because I watched Game Changers and I had to check to see if the new kiddie
was a Knuckle Puck kid.
Was like either his brother or
like related to him.
Yeah, well, they just kind of got
he's got the gift of the gab, isn't he? Like Keenan. Like he's almost like he did Fat Albert, which wasn't so successful, but he was getting renowned, work basically, and he's done really well for himself.
Yeah, he's on Saturday Night Live. Like now, I think. Yeah,
and Snakes on the Plane.
Yeah.
And then Kel was on Mystery Men.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh shit, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
He's invisible, but you can't look at him.
No, he does a lot of kids shows now. My daughter watches some stuff on Nickelodeon, and he appears in that every so often. So he's.
It's weird, isn't it, how it cycles like that? I've been watching a lot of Nickelodeon shows from the 90s, which we didn't get because, obviously, American Network TV. So you had the game shows, which were based on, like, Nintendo and all that. Kind of like their version of Games Master, but we never received them. Like, do you remember the Temple Run and all that kind of stuff? And what was it? Guts? Do you remember?
I don't remember that one. No.
It's kind of like Gladiators, but for kids.
Okay.
Like get your own back.
Get your own back.
Yeah.
Like on that, maybe not
Run the risk.
Like the scenario.
Run the risk. I remember that.
Run the risk was brilliant.
Yeah, but I love Nickelodeon content from that like mid-90s, late 90s.
Well,
totally.
That was literally my go-to channel when I got home from as a kid. It was Nickelodeon and maybe swap over to Trouble.
Yeah.
And then
my mum
the odd
it.
Disney with like Recess.
Yeah. Recess. Teen Angel.
Teen Angel.
Oh my god!
I forgot existence. Who just said it? Teen Angel.
Yeah.
Do you remember
that
Boy Meets
depressing
World?
bloody intro music?
Do you remember when Mum blocked the channel with Nickelodeon because we watched it obsessively?
Well, that's what I mean about mums. They just block shit.
So we went up to the hundreds in, like, you know, when you find the German and Indian channels.
Yeah.
We went and we reprogrammed it on like 98 or something, so we could watch it still because she had channel 7 blocked, didn't she? So when you went on to channel 7,
Oh, so you reprogrammed it to that, so you wouldn't find
scrambled
it.
it. So on Nick, you can just
I love
go
that.
through the frequency.
That's amazing.
So we hacked it almost, but yeah.
That's
Rerouted
awesome.
the
I
encryption.
don't think we ever.
I wish I came up with that when I was a kid. Jesus
Have
Christ.
you leaked that shit to your mum? Because I love leaking stuff.
Oh, yeah,
I
told
tell
her.
my mum now. I get away with it. Like,
Oh yeah, tell her all
done
the
it.
time. Oh, we, you know, she
Yeah,
was
we-
like, oh, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Part of growing up.
Well, it's like that Kevin Bridges joke about the dad. And he's like, "Good night, son,"
Oh, yeah.
and he knows you're watching porn.
Yeah.
I went back to my dad saying, "You know about it, right?" He's like, "Yeah." Good pick, though, sir.
Yeah,
Good pick.
nice.
So we're gonna go to the number ones now.
It's number 1.
So Tim, yours was done.
Yep.
So Chris, was yours done?
Yeah, well,
Go for it.
like Phil, it's nailed on because of like how much I watched it as a kid and how much I've still watched it, and I know for a fact I'm going to watch it in the future, and then I'm probably going to get my grandchildren to watch it, and that is Mr. Bean.
Hey.
Right, I love Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Bean, growing up as a kid, was one of the best characters ever. It was one of those things that always loved it when he was on. You didn't realise that maybe there was only 3 or 4 episodes.
This is the
of
actual
season.
Rowan Atkinson one, not
Rowan
the
Atkinson.
animated or
Not the
anything like
anima-
that. Yeah.
Even though the animation's quite good as a cartoon.
Yeah, sure.
Like, yeah, growing up as a kid, you don't realise that there were only very short amount of episodes, like 40
Yeah,
tales.
yeah.
It's only 12. You don't realise
Yeah.
that. But I know how much I like it because I still love it now. And I remember, was it last year? I was a bit ill and I was in bed. I was dying, and the girlfriend's watching it, and it's the scene like in the church, the first one, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
hallelujah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm just I've been dead all day. I'm not laughing, and I'm just laughing away. I'm not even watching the show. I just know
It's
what
yeah.
scenes happening, and like
Yeah.
I'm watching it in my head.
Yeah.
Is that the one when he blows his nose?
No,
He
it's the
can't-
chewing gum.
Yeah, no, this is the one in the church where he's
Yeah.
falling asleep and all he wants to do is sing hallelujah.
Yeah,
Right.
And then you got the bit where he's cheating on the test.
Yeah,
You know, and he's leaning over and he's
Yeah,
like,
and then he goes to the beach.
So this is something that I've watched countless amount of times, and then I watched it again recently, and doing this list, like now I'm a dad, I can't wait for my boy to be old enough so we can start watching Mr. Bean.
Right.
I know Mr. Bean's gonna love
Yeah.
Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean will, because it goes around the world, because there's
Yeah.
no sound in there, is there? So
Yeah, you mentioned that in the last episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's every language.
So it goes for every language. Everybody loves Mr. Bean, and it's kind of like I'm hoping that then my boy will then. Oh, you got to watch this old. I mean, it'll probably look dated, but it might be a case of my mum made me watch Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my boy watch Mr. Bean. I remember my stepdad making my stepsister watch Mr. Bean, and she bought all the videos for her, like my niece and nephew sort of thing. Now, so it's very. And just thinking back, I was like, right, Mr. Bean has got to go on there for me.
One of
It's
the most
just,
Yeah.
and he is so clever
Yeah.
in the way he goes about doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like the bit in the scene where he's on top of his couch and he's
Yeah.
but he actually did that stunt. Apparently, they
Yeah.
actually closed the road and he went down on the top of his car.
Was that the mini one?
Yeah,
He's on top of the mini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not allowed to do that. You know, like just this genius
Very
of like
active
putting the tent at the
comedian.
front and then
Yeah.
pretended like he'd come out of it.
Yeah, he's a genius as well. You know,
Yeah.
in a backwards way.
And his,
And he obviously takes like when he gets into a little petty rivalry with someone.
The blue car sort of
Yeah.
thing. It's just one of those comedies that, you know,
yeah.
I know I'm going to watch it forever, sort of thing. It might
It
not
will
be
yeah.
well respected, but I know on some of these lists I might not go back when I'm older.
Yeah.
But I know Mr. Bean
Definitely will always go
always-
back. Yeah.
No, he'll stand the test of time for sure. I mean, with out of all comedy shows, he will stand
because I
the
watched
most.
because it was like was it 50? It was an anniversary of Mr. Bean recently, and like there was a big documentary on like how Mr. Bean and how he did it and everything, and it was just so interesting. And he loved it. You know, I mean, he's done him to death, but
Yeah.
you know he's made good
No.
money, and like anything with Rowan Atkinson's always been.
Did you like the movies?
Not as much because they made him. The problem is because it went to Hollywood. This is what they said they couldn't have Mr. Bean not talk.
Yeah.
For the whole movie, it doesn't work on Hollywood screen or so. Kind of.
It doesn't talk an awful lot, but he does.
It looks so much more polished. The cameras, like the lighting, everything looked polished. So
yeah,
it just looked.
It should have
didn't
been
look as good.
It should have been a British film. It should have stayed in Britain.
It should have stayed in Britain.
It was a British director, wasn't it? So,
but yeah, they're British.
But I mean, I went to see Mr. Bean, and I loved it when I went to watch it. You know, like Whistler's Mother, and like the whole painting of the nose.
Yeah,
laughed my head off. You know, like. Just the
way yourself.
The way he screws the doctor, you know, like it's just, and the way he makes his girlfriend with the ring, and you know, it's like that's not what she wanted.
Yeah,
but
I was just about to say Teddy.
Teddy, yeah.
There's a lot of sentimentality.
Teddy.
But being like what Phil said, it's like how much you watched it, because I remember just watching it in a Cyprus bar, and it was just up,
right,
and you could just watch it and laugh your head off, you know, and it's just.
Because it is for all ages, and
all ages,
and anyone can understand it. It's like it's the humour that fits every mould of every race.
Literally, and it's number one because I can't wait
to be number one.
Sit there with my boy,
see his reaction to it,
and watch it. Because I know for a fact, even when he's nephew, like I know for a fact they're going to absolutely lose their shit.
My niece got into it when she was 2, and she still loves it. I actually got a Teddy as a.
So it's like there's been since I've become a dad. There's been a new way of me. Thinking,
sure,
you know, like, then this was like, I can't wait to, you know, because it's still, because I watched it like at a really young age, and I still want to watch it now. Or if you put on an episode, I'd always watch it, you know.
Sure,
yeah. There's a few episodes that I kind of forget about. Like I remember seeing it as a kid, but I watched ones recently with my niece. And do you remember the one where he goes to dry cleaners?
Yeah,
that one. As a kid, I don't remember that one that well. But then I watched it again. I was like, I forgot all about this episode. But then, like, me and Nice to
school fair and like
the school fair one. That one rarely got shown on TV.
No, it didn't. And like the stuff with like, you've always been worried that you're going to lose your shorts jumping into a pool or something because of Bean, and like just how far he goes. Like him trying to make a buck or like a few quid to give to the busker. You know,
it's like, you know, in Rat Race, he plays a speaking role, but he's
Italian,
very much like Mr. Beam. He's got narcolepsy. He's in that ambulance delivery van, and obviously spills the heart out the window. It's so like Mr. Bean. That's what he would do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But like I deliberately didn't mention it when you were like, what was the first comedy you remember as a kid? And pretty much it's Bean, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it started off as a Christmas special or something, but it.
Yeah, I think mine was the Christmas one. The turkey.
Yeah. You know, it just hit a nerve, and it's, you know, it's stayed there for pretty much.
I had the VHSs, the red one, the blue one, the purple one, the yellow one. As I remember the colours.
The iconic him landing on the...
That's right, the opening, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's like...
Is that meant to personify that he's an alien?
Or he's been sent to Earth to annoy the human
race?
I don't know, but I mean...
I don't know.
He's one of those characters that I don't think I could be friends with. Like we were saying, like Larry David, I probably could.
Yeah,
but Mr. Bean.
That's because we're older now.
Because it irritate you more.
Yeah. Well, it'd probably be a bit weird.
yeah.
If I'm honest, you'd be like,
you wouldn't have been in the same room with him with other people
around.
No,
you'd be like,
question is, would your mum let you hang out with him?
Probably not. No. But to be fair, she loved Mr. Bean. Like, so there was never any. We were never getting banned from stopping all Mr. Bean. It never worked, but she was like, "You're not watching this shit." Well, she never blocked the channel. But, but Mr. Bean, and that was purely for nostalgia and
the future,
for the future, and for how good it genuinely is. It's
number one. Yeah.
Good choice, sir.
Very good pick. Yeah.
Very good, Scott. Number one, sir.
Right, my number one. Right,
Friends.
Damn it! No. Right, I couldn't. It's 2 shows, but it's one. I'm going to cheat a little bit here because I couldn't.
Okay.
I was going to put them down as number 1, number 2, but then it would have been either way. They're inverted. To me, I quote them the most. They made me, when I first saw them, I laughed so hard I was actually hurting from laughing. And it's The Day to Day and Brass Eye.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was the news report thing,
the satire news report parody show.
Yeah.
So Day to Day first came out in, I think, 1996 on BBC. And the concept of that show was it's a tongue-in-cheek, satirical news program.
Yeah.
But it's so ridiculous and so dry and so, like, just the stories that they report on are all made up. They're so lewd, but it's done in a straight-faced way.
Sure.
And honestly, it's just, for me, it's my favourite comedy. I love it. And then later on Channel 4, they brought out like Brass Eye, which was like a panorama style, again, satire, sort of parody. And it's again, just...
I never knew it went to Channel 4.
So much. Chris Morris, he writes it, along with Armando Iannucci, and then Steve Coogan's part of on Day to Day as well, and that's where the inception of the Alan Partridge character actually originated, doing the sports thing.
Is that the
World Cup
no one died thing?
That's Day
to Day.
Yeah.
That's Day to Day, yeah. And just, I mean, even Brass Eye got the 2001 episode special of the paedophile one?
Okay.
It got the most amount of
Origins of Peter Heats.
Yeah, like
got the most amount of TV complaints in all of British.
But this is like
history.
but this is what I was saying, that you have to have like a certain
It's dark.
Yeah,
it's
dark.
very dark. You have to be willing.
You can't like.
You can't be offended.
Like literally,
It's
that pushes it hard. Like,
Yeah.
To the extreme, for sure.
And the thing is, they get, because normally
they get celebrities.
Celebrities will read anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
they think you're being genuine. If you're a genuine news reporter, you know, like was it Gary Lineker? Like it said, like if a paedophile was in this picture, he would genuinely try and jump out and grab the child.
And things like this, like online.
Gary Lineker's reading this out, or someone's reading it.
Crabs have more common with people, like DNA than paedophile and all this kind of
one
stuff.
disguised itself as a school. You know, they've done a proper...
the CCTV.
Yeah, done a full news report on this paedophile disguised as a school. And it's got the CCTV of him walking down the street.
And you'll know this reference. You know, Day to Day?
Yeah.
You know the Justice, the Chapman. So basically, they do like an American parody of American local TV news, and every week it's about this serial killer on death row called Chapman Baxter, and every week he somehow kills more people. So that the first episode, murder on death row. By like the episode 6, killed 87 people. He's been in prison the whole time, and every week it's a ridiculous way that he chooses to die, to kill himself. So one is they dug up the corpse of one of the people he murders, reanimated it for robotics, and then gave it pre-recorded versions of him saying justice as he hits the button to then execute him through electrifying him.
Right.
And one of the voices is the voice of the victim, the voice of Charlie Sheen, and the voice of Neil Armstrong. No, Lance Armstrong or Neil Armstrong? Neil Armstrong. And literally,
you have been quoting it for years.
We quote it anytime like with doing football and someone wins a game where like someone got screwed the last game, it'll be justice.
Like what was cake? Is that brass?
Yeah, that's brass eye. That's the drugs episode.
The drug where they like make it like it just looks like a big cheese or like cheese.
Cheese.
Like they're saying that this is the new drug, and they get
from Czechoslovakia.
Like the stats of what it does. It's just you're like, how did you get them to say that?
One girl threw up her own pelvis bone on this stuff. What must her mother have thought? It's a fucking disgrace. They got Bernard Manning on talking about this dangerous, and like Rolf Harris and
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins,
the funniest
they inject it with this dye to attract it. To attract like teens to it, in all
like how far can they push what they would actually believe as the truth?
And that's where the satirical blurring of the lines comedy comes in. It's a bit Ali G like.
Yes,
how he's working celebrities to say stupid stuff under the premise that it's genuine. And I quote the show literally every day of my life to this day. It's ridiculous.
It's a shame Chris Norris doesn't do an awful lot now.
He did that film.
He done 4 lines. And he was in It Crowds as well.
Doesn't he do a lot of stuff
and he was
behind
in
the
Partridge.
scenes now? Like, I mean, there is quite a... I thought he did a bit more behind the scenes. He's not so much writing, but I do think he has a hand in some things. That
He's doing films in Hollywood. He did a film in America 2 years ago. I forgot what it's called, but it was like a Black Lives Matter movie.
I know
which one I mean.
I know. I didn't see it. I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Set in Africa. Yeah.
It's like it's something to do with Black Lives Matter, but it's like a mock on it or something like that. But but obviously there's 4 lines before that.
Producer,
Four
writing
lines,
for it.
Yeah, 4 lines is great.
Like Matt Berry does. He sort of
Matt Berry.
And, it's all part of that Garth Marenghi kind of Channel 4
that
guild.
era. When
it's
it all
weird.
started. Yeah.
It's like a frat pack or rat pack of comedians.
It's the
He done
British version
Veep
of
as
Saturday
well,
Night
or he had a hand in Veep.
Yeah.
I didn't realise.
Yeah,
I didn't realise he had a hand in Veep. And I mean,
Veep's good. Yeah.
Veep and the thick of it was like.
Yeah.
Thick of it's awesome.
Yeah.
Veep's on the radar, I think.
Veep
is good.
was one of those things like I didn't realise how good it was. I just managed. It was just on the telly, and I was sitting there having a drink, and then it was just laughing. I was like, right, I've got to go back and watch this.
And as well, like Day to Day stemmed from his original, Chris Morris's original radio show called Jam. And then he had a TV show called Blue Jam.
Jam was like
that was good.
That was psychedelic.
Yeah, it was weird.
That was so strange.
It was nice to have a listen to and have a bit of a smoke too.
Yeah,
it took you out. It took me out. I think I threw up watching one episode.
The TV repairman sketch, Mr. Lizard.
I felt uneasy.
Yeah,
in quite a few of them. So.
Yeah, it's a bit anxiety.
It's very,
and obviously, like a lot of his mates, like Kevin Eldon's part of it. Who's the guy who does Peter Peter Bainham as well, and just a clutch of British 90s comedy writers and actors. And
those rise in those times were like the Saturday Night Live of like America, but British version of it.
Kind of, yeah.
They had Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Chubby Chase.
They come out at the right time.
It
was the right time for it to be out, and what they could get away with. Channel 4, like when they were doing the dark, like 11 o'clock sort of comedies.
Yeah,
that's right.
And the thing is, I've watched it to death, and yet I still watch it, and I still piss up.
Yeah.
It's just timeless.
Yeah,
that's why they're number ones.
Nice
pick, sir.
Nice.
Phil.
Okay, my number one. I think this is going to come to a shock with people, but bear with me on this.
Friends.
No.
This is Brown Boy.
No, it's not a stereotypical. It's not what you would call a comedy. It's not written as a comedy, but it's filtered as a comedy.
Okay.
So basically, it's a Japanese game show.
Oh, I know.
Right. Yeah, Takeshi's Castle. But the Craig Charles years. With his comedic filter on top of it, not the original Japanese show, because it was used to be on Japanese TV.
Yeah.
It's much presented as a kind of there was skits in it of comedy, but like really it was a game show of athleticism, and
that's 10 years of us chilling and watching that.
How many?
That was great.
We laughed our heads off at people landing on their necks and stuff, because obviously it's like they got to go through these almost like Super Mario, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only show, and I mean this with 100%, that you could not tell if you're watching a repeat.
Yeah,
true. Very true.
You could
very true.
You could watch that show, and then literally, if someone could
put it
to the beginning and watch it again, you would not realise you've watched.
No one's ever said, "I've seen this one."
Yeah.
I've seen this one. You're like, and even if you have seen it, he gets drilled in his head, and you're like, you don't realise if you've seen it, you know.
Yeah.
And it stacks the deck on this comedy show. Like, I mean, it's like,
comedy.
It's how
it's on the Comedy Channel.
Watched
it.
We watched it as a comedy.
We laughed our heads off.
It's basically like
everything we've said here today is bang on what you said. It is 100%. We pissed ourselves for many nights.
If you're laughing at it, it's
hours of watching that.
For those who haven't seen it, basically it's a game show where 100 people start, and you've got to go through like individual levels
Japanese
and stages.
Wipeout, or it's a knockout.
Exactly that. So like by the end of it, there'll be 10 people remaining or 5, and there's certain games where you got to get over a slippery slope, or you're on a platform which is moving above water.
It's not health and safety friendly.
So people get hurt on it, and like it's just the way it is.
But the commentary from Craig Charles from Red Dwarf.
Craig Charles. That's why when you said Red Dwarf, I was like, oh, Chris is going to like this.
Yeah,
because it's like that. What is it? The end. Scott and I talk about this all the time. The end game where you're against the Emerald Guard.
Is it beatable?
No,
it has been done.
It has been
done.
But
Really?
They give basically you've got a tissue paper ring.
That's right.
And the only way to describe it is that you get the 99p post office, or like as a kid, and they've got a Super Soaker 500.
Yeah.
Like they're out.
And they've got to penetrate your ring.
You literally. I mean, I think for the 10 years we've watched it, I think 2 people have won.
Yeah,
maybe.
Get fireworks,
and it might have even been the same team.
It could very
that's what I mean. It might have even been the
might
same
have been
team.
one.
We might have watched the repeat.
Do you remember the game we
Very
would play
true.
where we'd play Called It? So we'd watch it in a group of people.
You
say,
go, this is your guy. You go, Chris, here's you. And you're
yeah,
like,
so everyone would have a guy in it. Say, for example, I called you because there was a guy in it who was wearing like a certain T-shirt that you always wear. So we're like, that's
he becomes your guy.
Yeah. Or if Chris is in it, there's a blonde guy in it.
You had like face
There's
tats.
a guy with long black hair, that's
Face
Phil. A
tats.
guy with glasses, that's Scott. There was level bosses in it. Like there was a guy that we just called Face Tats. And there was a guy called Red Hair. So there was this game called the Honeycomb Maze. Where you enter one door and you got to exit the other door by going through the maze. And you're basically up against ex-wrestlers who will grab you and manhandle you and throw you into what is filthy water. Yeah. But the way they would act about it, they would obviously like get a palm of dirt and get them in the face.
Oh, he's got the black eye.
Yeah. I think it was the way Craig Charles delivered it because
it's almost professional.
Who did it after him?
I don't know. I think they redid it and then they tried to put like loads of sound effect noises on it.
Okay, so it wasn't the same.
Much like that American display of like how
But
Total Wipeout.
it's one of those
done.
things that if you just put it on, you go, what is this rubbish?
This is like pre-Jackass days.
Yeah, that's what I was going to put it in, like the Jackass, Nitrous Circus, the kind of people hurting themselves. It's kind of like you shouldn't laugh, but you are.
I didn't even think to put that stuff in because Jackass and like those sort of things
Yeah.
are like.
But how many episodes have we watched in our history of
what was
Takeshi's
it?
Castle?
Dirty Sanchez and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
It's self-deprecation.
a lot of this stuff has come down to how much we've watched as in our group, in our clip.
We laughed our tits
how
off.
much we
Like,
laughed.
how many times would we be on the floor laughing because someone literally landed on their head?
It's called laughing at people's mishaps.
Like
which is a great kind of humour.
Was it
moody?
ball, but they've got
great.
to take a football from one end of the bridge to the other, and this bridge is so shaky and rocky. You just
they get pummeled. Like the cannon, in the UK, the cannon would go. But this thing that they put it up to.
This is brutal,
10,
yeah.
and it's just like.
Yeah.
It's an absolute cannon, and then like one they get caned in the head, and then it's like it's going down. It's like
what's one of the rocks they got to run across the box?
Skipping stones.
That's a great one.
Yeah, that was great to play Called It as because they've been coming over the hill,
They
running
just
at full
belt it.
pelt.
The ones that pelt for it, just go for it.
Or what's the door one where you got to go through certain channels of doors?
Yeah.
3 out of the 4 doors are
It was going to be
blocked.
blocked, yeah.
Only one of them, so people just run into them.
Won't be a net. Or just be a free.
My favourite is high rollers because they just get folded up on their neck just so awkwardly. And
the more devastating the fail, the better.
Me and Phil, we try and wait for one where like they get stunned on the first one, and then their head whiplashes back on the one behind them.
And that is why this is Phil's number one.
Yeah, it's true.
People getting injured is the funniest thing.
I honestly didn't even think about that.
No,
as
I
that.
never
thought. From his wrestling days, anything that landed on his head, then he'll love it.
Yeah,
and that's what we've laughed about.
The whole time.
How
people really getting injured is fun.
Really,
it is though. It's no different watching epic fails, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's just exactly
You'll
that.
sit there watching that all over Facebook. People just getting drilled.
It's very
drilled,
true.
drilled.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm not apologising for the
No,
fact that it's
fuck
not
no.
a
It's funny.
sitcom or a studio-based drama comedy
But this is what
series.
we're saying. It's what you
I
personally.
laugh my
Yeah.
head off. I'll be red in the face laughing because some
It is funny,
some
yeah.
guys had a mess happen.
Would you ever go on it?
I would like to attempt
Oh
it.
yeah, 100%.
There's the spinning mushroom one where you got to hold the big mushroom.
And it
by
spins as it goes down, doesn't it? Yeah.
Or the pole vaulting one, or the fly
Whole
wall.
vote I would
or-
love to do.
The thing is, you think you go, I could do
Do
that.
it. No. Probably wouldn't.
No,
Do that.
no.
The good thing with Takeshi's Castle is like I've seen people cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the honeycomb one, the guy who climbed the top
Oh, yeah,
and ran
I
across
forgot
the top of it and jumped down.
And
Now that's not illegal in Takeshi's.
Yeah.
That's quite good, yeah.
But
You can.
but it kind of takes the fun out of it, really, doesn't it?
And it's,
They do that.
I think they allow
Oh no, it's
it.
just brilliant to win. You know, like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
like,
of course,
it's one
yeah,
those
yeah,
things, like, the game is rigged,
Yeah.
but you can rig it yourself.
Yeah,
like,
but
if you want to play fair, you play fair.
Sure.
There was just this one guy, and you go, how smart is he?
Yeah.
He
General
basically
Lee.
did, what is it, Will Smith out of Men in Black? He pulled the table.
Yeah.
As viewers, you want them to fail because you want to see him fail because it's funny.
Yeah.
But as a viewer, you're like, that guy's smart. I'm having him.
And then it's
Snidey.
like, yeah.
Snipe,
Snidey
old
tactics.
snipe man.
Yeah.
And General Lee would be on screen just going, fair enough. Like he did them there.
Craig Charles, like, oh, look at this guy.
Craft.
Well, it's like I say, it's just how many times did you, me, Matt, Wayne sit there daily watching that
of an evening.
Yeah,
because we were quite
out
out of
there.
zone.
Yeah,
It's the best way to watch it, really.
And that's why we loved it.
yeah. So Takeshi's Castle's my number one for those reasons.
Shit.
And again, timeless because you never know which episodes are
Yeah.
so
That's a damn good choice. Damn good choice, sir. I don't know how to follow that, but good choice.
Your number one, sir.
My number one is a childhood one for me. Used to be on every Wednesday night on BBC Two, 9 o'clock, and it's a show called Game On.
Oh, yes.
On.
No.
Yeah.
I love that show. Yeah.
Absolutely fucking love that show, and I cannot ever get enough of it. It's like you, Tim, with Curb and whatnot, and your, Sunny Philadelphia. I can just go back and watch it and watch it and watch it and never ever get bored of it.
Who's your favourite Matt?
Oh,
I do have to stick with Ben Chaplin.
What,
Yeah.
the
First one, yeah. So
he was healer, wasn't he? He was a bigger heel.
Yeah.
yes, definitely, yeah. So anyone who doesn't know the show, Game On was basically about three people that lived in a flat in Battersea. One was agoraphobic; he couldn't leave the house. You had Martin. Sorry, that was Matt. Martin was the kid who worked in a bank and did his daily 9 to 5 job. And then you had Mandy, was a slut that everyone fancied, but you still hated her at the same time. And it's just a day-to-day thing. Every episode is something new, but it's like, how can you do a show just stuck in one flat and have all these other people do their daily things, but it always still comes back to this flat, and how Matt kept going on with his daily life, being stuck in a hotel, waiting for Martin to come home, whatnot. It's just brilliant. Unfortunately, Ben Chaplin, who was Matt in season 1, left because he didn't to go to Hollywood. But I think Game On is a prime example, one of those shows how you can replace an actor and still friggin' enjoy that same character at the same time.
It's hard though. It does
Definitely.
It doesn't work a lot.
This is what I'm saying.
A lot of stuff dies the moment they try and replace a character. You know.
And
they
that's
even make a joke of that, don't they? In one of the episodes.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
One thing I can't stand is when a show replaces a character.
This is it.
Yeah, no, because it was one of those things I've watched. I've just checked it out and I was like, oh, Blast from the Past. I know what you're talking about, but I never really.
So good. We've been watched it a couple
never
of months
really.
ago.
But I know the guy you're talking about who went to
there was
Hollywood,
only 3 seasons, six episodes a season. It wasn't going to be my number one on the pure fact that I don't like how it ended. It's a shame they didn't give it a proper ending, but as a show itself, I just can't fault it. I bought the box set in 2003. And I'm scared that box set is going to break or get scratched deeply. That I'll never be, because you cannot find the show anywhere but DVD. Huh? No, apart from DVD, you can't find it anywhere. It's not on streaming services. You can't download it from anywhere. So if you ever hunt it down, it will only be on DVD. It deserves a Blu-ray release or some sort.
I want to see making of would be good as well.
Yeah,
like, interviews from. I'd like to see it. But
good making of it or something would be really good.
Yeah, about you saying about Rich Matt and Ben Chaplin, definitely for me.
How old were you when
so
you?
Good.
So
when this is on, what age are you?
So that came out in '96. I believe I was 14 at the time.
So you're like, you're just getting your own sense of humour and what you find.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like it's one of those shows.
Risque.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that was built for teenagers, but was on too late for teenagers. If that made sense, because the first season used to be on Wednesday. Then they knew they had an audience, so they moved it to, when season 2 and 3 came out, it came out on Friday nights instead. Yeah. So they moved it, so they knew they had because it was all about shagging and, getting a new girlfriend and all that. Yeah. It was, because at the time,
that's why we watched Eurotrash.
Exactly. Eurotrash was just the porn you got before the adult channel preview came on, wasn't it? But no, just Game On is just, it's pure comedy gold. It's like you guys with your number ones. It's like there's something to it that always makes you laugh. There's never an episode where I don't like, that's a crap episode. I think it has all 6 episodes. Each season are perfect.
Yeah, but even if they are a weaker one, they're only on for 20, 25
minutes.
Yeah,
20, 25 minutes of that.
You can it's over before you've done it. And they're never poor on any of these sort of programmes.
I just think that the characters they envelop in it, Matt and Martin's relationship. It's just like, when Matt gets in a mood and he's going to beat up Martin. It's just the way he is with Martin, the way He's dominant, isn't he? He's the
This
alpha
is it.
male.
Yeah.
I love that. I think
Yeah,
he's one of my
absolutely
favourite
spot on, mate.
characters
Absolutely
of all
spot on.
time.
White and mine used to be bollockhead.
I see, yeah, just so many one-liners in that are just amazing and just
Wally Bazoon.
Wally Bazoon was the banker,
His mate at the bank.
that's it.
Oh, I love what's done was Matt as the band and the bar.
It's a great episode.
He's having so
Oh,
exciting.
how does the song go again?
I know. It's, I'm in the streets. I'm in the gutter. It's years since I've had bread and butter.
That's it. And you see the episode when he finally goes out for the first
scream.
time.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah, and it's he's clutching the surfboard.
Yeah, it's just like how he's sweating on the mic and everything. It's just it's so good. It's like,
out there in the streets of all the jizzer monkeys and the
skunk pussies. But then there's
the ooze
there's
comes through the pavement of the
that's
crack.
it.
It envelops your soul, Martin.
And there's the one where Mandy's mate, who's gay,
And he
hangs out with
turns
Matt
him,
and turns him gay, but he's not admitting he's gay.
But
Whatnot.
then he also makes him scared.
We just
to be outside
wrestled.
as well.
Yeah, yes, they
And
wrestle.
now we're tired. We're resting.
And the obviously season 3 has the classic Hoover stuck to him episode. It's so good as well. But yeah, it's like I
When
like.
Pulp Fiction's the bear, you know. And he,
No, that's Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, and he cuts the bear's ear
yeah.
off. He does so much to that. He even does like Good, the Bad, the Ugly.
Yeah.
There's loads
Because
of
he's
film
so-
references in that
because
show.
He's so bored in the flat.
This
isn't
is it.
Because they're both at work and he can't go out, so he has. To
And that's what I'm saying. You
literally-
always waited for Martin and Mandy to come home to like
Yeah.
hear their story, make a cup of tea, whatnot. Every episode has something new to the table.
What's the one
Even-
he does order Domino's pizza?
yes,
Yeah, that's a great episode.
No, he cuts himself.
He faints at his own blood.
and he says, "No, real Coke because I need the sugar."
yeah.
Dare I say it though? There's an element of Red Dwarf to that. Like he needs them. for
Yeah.
his mental stimulation.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it was kind of cool how they kind of go back to his past sometimes as well.
His parents died in a car crash.
that's right,
so he's
yeah.
got PTSD and all that.
That's
isn't
it,
Which
yeah.
he obviously uses as a crutch to manipulate Mandy and Martin. Mandy doesn't buy into it so much, but because they're childhood friends, or
That's
he's
right, yeah.
best friends with her brother. Or,
Martin's best mate's little brother's best friend, something
so
like
they
that.
know
Yeah.
each other from school, so they've got all that politics going on. And
They feed off each other for their good and bad like parts. So it's like that yin and yang thing that they just balance out.
I would say it's like next to like when you encapsulate Only Fools and Horses, and you put maybe in-betweeners in that, I would say Game On also goes into that.
There's like a time capsule of
Yeah.
comedies which is just
They're flawless,
In
timeless.
theory, we could have done the generic top 5 list, which would have been like, you know,
Fools and Horses.
Sure, yeah.
Steptoe.
Yeah. Oh my god, Steptoe.
I'm not a fan of Steptoe, but a lot of people would say.
Really? Okay,
And
yeah.
Open
Like
All
the
Hours
Blackadder.
and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Open
mention
All Hours.
League of Gentlemen. There's so many you could
my.
recite.
Yeah.
League of Gentlemen, yeah.
Yeah. Like how many quotes?
Should have gone in the top 10?
How many quotes have we said from League of Gentlemen over the
I
year?
did consider.
Oh, totally.
We'll just put it in as 5.5 or 1.1.
Definitely,
Joint.
yeah, that would definitely. I
Yeah.
would have done some consulting
Well,
over that one.
We've got honourable mentions, I'm sure. Coming
yeah,
up,
there you
so.
go.
So that's it. If you can hunt it down on DVD, guys, I highly recommend it. It's a great show. It probably might not stand the test of time now, but it's like Chris said, it's a great time capsule one. It's one of those comedy shows I always look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it. I'm like you. It's totally zennial.
It was the one.
Isn't it?
It was that school week when you're like, oh, Game On's on this week, or the new season starting. It was the only comedy show, obviously before streaming services came, whatnot, where you were struck to only 4 channels, and it was something you just couldn't wait for.
It was that like human traffic type demographic that was happening at the time.
Yes.
Like the kind of outgoing rave scene, dance scene. You know, these kids, got jobs.
Acid house music.
Yeah, like you could feel it within the episode. It's like, it's like a time capsule.
Yeah,
thing, the Game
totally.
On. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's our number 1. Has anyone got honorable mentions they want to go for?
Big Train.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, good choice.
That was the one I really wanted to put.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I love
That's my
Simon
favourite
Pegg.
sketch one. It's like Harry Enfield. Then you got Big Train.
Yeah, that's true.
Big Train.
So many good sketches from Big
Big
Train.
Train's
Big Train's
ridiculously
awesome.
good. Yeah.
My
The Bee Gees one always gets me.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
my one that I'm currently invested in, that I can't wait for the new season, that I've really been watching, is Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I love it. Oh, they're never going to do it, though, are they?
Have they not?
3 seasons is done.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
it kind of ended.
Yeah, that's the thing. They cancelled it after season 3.
I didn't know, but like it was like I watched that because I always laughed at the other ones.
Yeah.
And then
It's
I
a
watched,
damn good show,
I watched
though.
this on my own, and I was pissing myself laughing.
Yeah.
Like, it was really hard to get it in. I was like, do I get it in? Do I get it in? And it's like Yeah, I didn't really. I'm gutted now. You just told
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Sorry, dude. I'm like
nailed
you.
it. They nailed it. So the comedy was, because the comedy was second. You know, it was so brutal, and the comedy just toned.
The practical effects in that show
It was
are
brilliant.
spot on
like
as well.
The way it was just the timing and what was being said. I loved it. Also, it's the same with them. I don't know if you watched Santa Clarita Diet.
They finished that as well, haven't they?
They
Yeah.
cancelled that. That was another one I was invested in. That's what I mean. I liked his overlaying story arcs in America.
This is the thing. This is the problem I'm having with like new shows. As well, I was saying earlier, I'm not looking for new shows anymore until an entire season's finished. Then I'll watch it, because the problem is these cancellation things. This is the thing I don't want to invest in. All
Yeah,
the
there's
time.
no point, is there?
I mean, like the same thing. Like you can still watch something even if it's not investable. Like I've just finished a series at the moment, and there was only 6 episodes, and my mum was like, "Is there any point?" I was like, "But it was good."
Still worth putting it under.
Yeah, you know,
like-
it was like I kind of wish they did more seasons,
Yeah.
and I was looking for it, and I was like, 2014, it's not coming.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
So-
because I'm waiting for Better Call Saul to finish, because I love the Breaking Bad, but I don't want to start Better Call Saul just yet, because I want to see where it goes. If it finishes,
See if they stop it suddenly.
I don't want them to find out it's cancelled, and again, then I'm like, for fuck's sake, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll wait until it's finished, and when it is, then I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah, I didn't bother with that because I like Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad
so
was
I-
one
and
of
I
my
just-
favorite shows. It's
I
good.
wasn't invested in the story as much. I liked Soul working with it, but I don't really want to.
No, but I've heard
I've
good
heard
things.
really
Yeah,
good
exactly.
things.
Which is
And
why I'm waiting until it's
and then I
finished.
was like,
then I'll watch it.
I think it's better to just batch watch it, so you don't get any
Yeah.
spoilers, or like you say, Tim, like you just want to watch it.
I'll wait it out for sure.
Yeah.
And then
Ignore the
because then people stop talking about it, and then I can watch it without people telling me what's going to
Yeah,
happen
exactly.
in the week. So
stuff like
Any other honorable mentions?
Rick and Morty,
Yep.
Rick and Morty,
Rick and Morty, yes.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and pretty much like Brooklyn Nine-Nine was another one which I had no interest in, and someone watch it,
Yeah.
and I ate humble pie with that one.
Yeah.
Andy Samberg though
Samberg,
is funny.
Captain Holt being one of the best characters.
Captain Holt is the best character for
You know,
sure.
it works. It would have
Yeah.
been in the top 10. It was, but that's what I mean about the American. I really do like the American if it's their comedy, and
Yeah.
they wrote it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do it well.
It's not taken from something else.
Yeah.
Their comedy is good. Our comedy's dark,
Yeah.
twisted, and a bit.
Yeah, if they can, because we bend reality a lot.
Because I don't think they would find Snatch or Lockstock funny.
Not as much to us.
Whereas
not
we
to
would
us,
find
yeah.
those
Yeah,
films
yeah.
funny because it's our humour and
They-
the way a line's delivered. That's our comedy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think they like our humor because they're curious, because they can't figure it out almost.
Can't figure it
Yeah,
out.
they're like, what is this?
But yeah,
So
I-
if you
I-
someone's
showed them,
intrigued.
if
I
you
am
showed them
enjoying
monkey
these-
dust, they would be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Unless you're from the UK, you
Yeah.
get monkey dust,
Yeah,
but in
sure.
American, it's just so dark and bleak, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
it's not in their patchwork.
No.
I have a couple of honourable mentions.
Go for it.
Father Ted,
Oh, of course.
classic
Yeah.
British
Yes.
comedy,
Yeah.
Channel 4.
Yes.
And I've got to mention it, Reno 911.
Oh, yes.
That is so good. Anytime I watch that, I forget how good it is. And even the film was good.
Yeah.
And normally
These
they
lists
sort
would have
of...
been different if we had
10.
UK
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
top 10
yeah.
or top 5, and
Yeah.
then, you know, American top 5. You could split
You could do a battle.
battle royal.
Yeah, but
But,
UK versus American
I
shows.
love doing this. This one was harder than what the films, because I do class.
But you
myself-
mentioned earlier you watch more
I
shows
do-
and films.
I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
watch. That's my
Yeah.
main.
And for me, this was the easiest.
The easiest one.
Yeah.
I've been. Yeah, it's been great.
This is a good show.
Phil,
I've
any
enjoyed it.
mentions?
Just a couple. Chris already mentioned it with Rick and Morty. I enjoy that very much. I think it's just such an intelligent comedy,
By far.
animation. In-Betweeners,
Yep.
The thick of it,
Yep.
I figured out, yeah.
Summer Heights High, Free Radio, League of Gentlemen, which you can add on. Married with Children. I just like that show.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah, Bundy's.
Mighty Boosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I adore Beavis and Butthead, so
Yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
Judge, Silicon Valley
Yeah.
kind of stuff. I like that kind of like perspective on American culture. So more like I'm more the American side of things than I like UK shows. Like I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with them
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I can just muddle between the lines, but there was so many that I was like, oh, I've got to put that in. I'm sure everyone's had that, But ultimately, I'm more driven towards comedy things than super serious. So this was a whole lot easier for me to compile my list
Sure,
compared
yeah.
to doing the film one. But
True.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, one more. Seinfeld. I don't think we've mentioned that. Yeah. And Home Improvement.
Oh
I was about to mention that. Yeah.
There's a series on at the moment on Discovery, I think it is, and it's basically Tool Time.
Yeah, okay.
And it's got Al and the guy with the beard and the girl, and it's like the contestants, and they got to do stuff
Oh,
on
quite
the
nice.
show.
Okay,
So it's
cool.
basically, it's
Nice.
actually them hosting a show,
Yeah.
Oh,
but
nice.
it's basically Tool Time.
Yeah, I'm improving this in my top 10. I freaking love that show.
Yeah, it was brilliant. You know,
Only a couple from me, which is It Crowd, Spaced, and Black Books.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Was it 8? Yeah.
Oh, and Modern Family. Sorry, if no one watches
Yeah.
that,
Oh my
Modern
God.
Family's amazing.
Yeah, no, it was slashed between Modern Family or Silicon Valley. It was
Oh, okay.
Modern Family was another one. That was one that I just watched. It was on. I didn't watch that until like season 6.
Yeah, they've just finished it now, haven't
And,
they?
then, and I was like, and I was just sitting there. It was on, and I was laughing my head off. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
it's got me. Go back,
Yeah,
watched it,
totally.
and it works because that's basically my life's been a bit. You know, there are modern families. That's basically my parents would never stay together, so we've had different families.
Sure.
I get that. It really, really worked, that show.
Yeah.
I recommend that show highly.
Yeah. Modern Family is very much like.
What's that? Oh, The Good Place.
Yeah.
Good play. I've never heard of that.
That's the one with Ted Danson and.
Oh, the Netflix one.
Yeah,
Okay, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah?
one. Yes. Yeah.
Tom Green show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cracks me up.
I'm gonna throw the piggy up the hill.
Yeah, I like that annoyance character that just, like I say,
Yeah.
pushes the envelope. Goes,
Is that the one where that guy?
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
I
Yeah.
recommend The Good Place with you and your wife. I think that'd
Yeah?
be a good. Yeah, you know, that's a really good.
Yeah.
You know,
Because we watched that Shit Creek one, and that was pretty good.
I didn't. My friends like that as.
It was
I didn't
okay.
I
She
didn't
liked it
like
more
that,
than me,
Yeah,
but yeah.
So that's very Marmite Shit's Creek.
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
like you either like it or you
Yeah.
don't. But
Business is like a
good,
dance.
good. The Good Place. I think you two would enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give that a go then.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's pretty much.
Nice,
there
guys.
Are
Nice.
going to be other comedies that we've probably forgotten.
Friends.
But just assume that we know of them.
yeah,
and-
subjective selection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything. that's
Everyone's
famous
list was
and-
really good, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just I
I did want to put Always Sunny in Philadelphia in myself, but I knew that.
well, this is the
someone
thing
else
because
would have it.
I had Curb in there, but then I thought I'd take it out because it might be Tim's
Yeah.
number one.
I knew
but he
that
was
Tim
like,
would
no,
have it.
keep your original list. So I thought, okay, I'll keep it in there just in
Yeah.
case. So,
But yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
guys, thank you so much for that. I really do
Pleasure.
appreciate
And
that.
hosting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. So if you liked what you listened to, follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B Podcast, or on Instagram at M.T.V.B Podcast, or on Twitter at M.T.V.B Podcast 1. This is Ant-Man, Phil, Scott, Chris, and Tim signing off.
See ya.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Cheers.
Ta-ra for now.